pass was struck by a Bronco stick, but it's played first by Gio Pantelis behind the Wheat King cage. 2.5 gone in the first. Wheat Kings lead 1-0. It's dumped into Bronco territory. Gleesman hard to the forecheck on Brownlee, slams him into the glass. Carson Ralph joins the pile in the far corner of Bronco territory for the Wheat Kings. Puck scrummed up on that far side. Ralph trying to lift it out against a trio of Broncos. Gleesman's into the pile as well. Broncos kicking at it, trying to keep it welded down there. Brownlee comes up with it, lost it to Bindernord on the far side. Ralph now for the Wheat Kings. Back to the left point, Helinski. Helinski unable to hold the zone on the rolling puck, just works it back to center. Ralph nearly turned it over, but Pantelis is there to help him out. Ralph on the far side. Plays it to Helinski on the far wall of Wheat King territory on the breakout. 3:15 gone in the first. Wheat Kings lead 1-0. Bindernord at center, getting harassed from behind. Puts his man right into the Wheat King bench, and then Dingman tries to repay the favor. Physicality picking up here. Brownlee behind the Bronco net, blows a tire as Gleesman tracks him down and fills in his man on the far side, freeing up the puck. Lots of body checking in this early first period, as we might expect from a preseason finale, or late preseason game rather, as the Broncos get back in and dump this wide of the Wheat King net. 3:40 gone in the first. Wheat Kings lead 1-0 and look to break out. Long stretch pass misses Odit and comes free to the far side. Goche at the Wheat King bench, bodied by Jimmy Egan as he dumps it in, and Cam Allard for Brandon is first to it. Ronald in the far corner makes the handoff to Odit, nifty between his feet pass to Egan. Egan got tracked down and taken off the puck. Broncos have it back in their own zone. Potter nearly turned it over. It's off a stick to the near side. Pilsner poke check by Nick Johnson on the forecheck. Fed behind the Bronco net. Egan after it for the Wheat Kings on that far side. Broncos get there first. Odit comes in to free it up. Egan now pinned again on the far wall. Bounces it back to Ronald, shielding it well. Ronald tries to work down the boards, lost control of it against Hansen. Puck pops free to Odit at the left circle, fanned on his shot as he was surrounded by blue sweaters. In the far corner, the Broncos still can't clear. Ronald holds the left point. Ronald drags and fires through traffic. Rocha the save. Odit's on the rebound for the Wheat Kings. Back up to the left point for Dylan Ronald. Quickly to Cam Allard at the right. He shoots through traffic. Rocha another save. He doesn't know where it is, but the Broncos do. On the breakout is Hansen, pivoting back in his own zone. He's bodied hard by Jimmy Egan, and the Wheat Kings take the puck. Cam Allard dodges his way back onside. Broncos knock him off the puck and throw this back to the neutral zone with not quite 5 minutes played in the first. Arpin leads the break-in right up the middle. Arpin walks in, dancing to his right. He'll throw this wide of the net. Behind the Bronco net, Serkan after it for the Wheat Kings. Nearly made the strip, but Potter's able to escape. Potter's pass ahead gets the Broncos out to center, led by Bryant. He'll dump this back in. McFadden's out to play it. Easton Turco sends it up the near side. Yerrick's will pinch for Swift Current. Puck thrown back out front dangerously. Serkan will get there first for the Wheat Kings on the far side. Clear this to the line. Not out. Good keep by Wilkie. Bryant dancing for the Broncos. From the left circle, poke check neatly by Arpin. Thrown back down low. Bryant collides with Jacobson on the near side. They work one another over, and the Wheat Kings steal the puck. Gavin to center. He'll fire this into the far corner of Bronco territory. Serkan's after it. Behind the Bronco net, it's sent up the near side. Arpin holds the right point. Arpin gets it back and leaves it there for Gavin on the cycle. Driving to his left to the far side for Easton Turco. He shoots, saved by Rocha. Turco's on the rebound. Sends it to the near side. Jacobson hooked back out front for Serkan. Serkan fires, pad save Rocha. Marine trying to clear the rebound for Swift Current. Wilkie to center, no further as Gavin picked his pocket. Wheat Kings will take the puck back, and Easton Turco over the red line will air this into Bronco territory with 6 minutes gone in this first period. Rocha decides he's going to hang on. Shots are 6-0 for the Wheat Kings, and they lead 1-0. Merrick Arpin has his first of the preseason. A bank shot from that left circle in Bronco territory. Here with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 for Wheat Kings hockey. The face-off will be in the Bronco zone to the right of Joey Rocha as Bethal, Lucas, and Boyce come out for Brandon. Rob Bethal will take the draw. Scrambled up and won by the Wheat Kings. Pantelis holds the rolling puck. Bethal from the slot shoots. Rocha makes another save, and he's going to hang on to that with Lucas and Boyce both lurking close by. 13:54 to go in the first period. We'll do that face-off all over again on the far side of Bronco territory. And Bethal will take it again against Carter Moen, a couple of drafted players from 2024. Wheat Kings get the draw. Room for Helinski to work in. From the left circle, he shoots, ripped it wide. Up the near side, Pantelis has it go off his foot and out to center. Boyce is in a foot race. He'll get there first on the far side of Wheat King territory and prevent the Broncos breaking in alone. Alescu on it now for Swift Current. Leaves it for Moen on the cycle on the far side. Pantelis disrupts it but can't clear. He'll get it back for a second try. Gio Pantelis skating his way ahead, makes the handoff. Wheat Kings out to center, and Boyce will carry in. Wide to his left, he feeds it on to Pantelis and just missed him. Lucas in the near corner. Dodges a check and comes up with the puck from the right circle. He'll throw it back door, tipped away from Boyce. Ralph on the rebound for the Wheat Kings on the far side. Wins a battle, comes up with the puck for a moment before it's knocked back into the scrum. Lucas for the Wheat Kings sends it up the boards. The Broncos pick it off. They'll get out to center. Lifted high into the Wheat Kings zone. The arm is up, but the Broncos will beat the icing out with Sexsmith. In the far corner, he's pinned hard and taken down by Gio Pantelis. Pantelis comes up with the loose puck. Binder Nord to the line, not out. Broncos have Pilsner keeping it onside. He'll shoot, and McFadden's got his first touch of the game. A nice, calm trapper save with 12:53 to go in this first period. Shots are 7-1 for the Wheat Kings. Your shots are for Kyle Ryan Denture Clinic. They offer complete and partial denture service, including repairs, relines, and adjustments. The goal for the Wheat Kings coming from Merrick Arpin. Neither team has been on the power play yet. Faceoff will be to McFadden's right on the near side. And the Broncos win it back to Pilsner. From the left point, slapped down low. Dingman will pick it up. Dingman works it back out front. Gleesman had his man Brown tied up, and up to center come the Wheat Kings, led by Binder Nord. Over the Bronco blue line to his right. Binder Nord slips the check and keeps on going. Works it back to Rel for a shot ripped wide. On the far side, Ronald goes down low for the Wheat Kings on the cycle. Disrupted by Potter of the Broncos. He'll leg it to center. Ronald knocks it back down at center, but it bounces into the Wheat Kings zone anyway. Sends around the near side. Allard is after it. He's getting lined up, but makes the play up the near boards. Not out. Gleesman will kick this ahead, but again, the Broncos make the keep. On the far side, Ralph and Gleesman come in to throw their weight around and free the puck up. Puck sits there for a moment. It's lifted to the middle and claimed by Dingman. Dingman hands it off to Yerrick's pinching up. From the left circle, Yerrick's worked on by Cam Allard, who takes him hard to the wall. 12:07 to go in period number one. Wheat Kings lead 1-0. Dylan Ronald to the left of his net. Fed through to Binder Nord, who just tips this out to center ice. Broncos will sweep it back in, but they've got a tag up on the offside. And the Wheat Kings will take advantage to work in most of a change. Ronald dangerously does manage to poke this up the boards, not out. Broncos make the hole. Hansen from the left circle leaves it for Yerrick's at the point. His shot off his own man goes all the way down into Bronco territory with 11:43 left in the first. Owed it hard to the forecheck, but the Broncos able to escape. Hansen had his pass tipped away by Egan. Owed it after it again behind that Bronco net. Up the far side, Gray on it for Swift Current. His pass bounces around, and Oded is on it again. Egan feeds it through to him, scores! Jimmy Egan tried to work it back out front, and for the second time in the first period, a pass attempt by the Wheat Kings gets deflected right past Rocha to put them up 2-0. Jimmy Egan will lead the flyby. He's got the Wheat Kings ahead by a pair with 11:28 to go in the first period. You could see Egan looking for Easton Oded, much the same way Merrick Arpin was looking for Jordan Gavin. And in similar fashion, what was a good pass turns into a perfect shot on goal. 11:28 to go in the first. Wheat Kings hold an 8-1 shots on goal advantage, and now a 2-0 lead with all the scoring at even strength. Egan, Johnson, and Oded will remain on the ice against Maureen, Wilkie, and on the far side, Burden Oil Capital Bryce Bryant, who you just know is looking forward to playing tomorrow in his hometown of Burden, where the next game between these two teams will be played. It's a neutral site game, and though it is 45 minutes from Brandon and, well, significantly more than that from Swift Current, we are looking at the Broncos as the home team. They put an extra second back on the clock, but we are back underway. The Broncos have the puck. On the far side of their zone, lifted up the middle dangerously and again picked off. Oded backhands this through, but it's knocked down by Hawker. Oded comes in and finishes the check on him, forcing him to steer that puck out of play. 11:16 to go in the first, and the Wheat Kings now lead 2-0. You're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 for Wheat Kings Hockey. This Brandon Wheat Kings broadcast on Q Country 91.5 is copyrighted for the sole use of Pattison Media and our listeners. With the face-off coming up in the Broncos zone on the near side, it'll be Jacobson, Gavin, and Serkan up front for the Wheat Kings. Jacobson will take the draw against Wilkie of the Broncos. And it's a clean win for Jacobson. Arpin from the right point fires through traffic off a body and high. Bryant knocks it down on the far side for Swift Current. Up the boards. Gavin kept it for a moment. Now it's out to center. Broncos corral it. Bryant on the gallop over the Wheat King line. Hands it off to Maureen. Maureen drags and fires. Hit his own man. Puck worked back out front. Jacobson knocks the rolling puck away and starts the Wheat Kings ahead 4 wide. Through center they come. Jacobson up the middle. Flips it off to Serkan. Serkan from the left circle. A shot ripped over top of the net. It rides the glass and goes all the way to center ice. Merrick Arpin is there first. Arpin to the far side. Turco. A couple of bodies fall as it's sent back down low on the far side. Wilkie's there first. Easton Turco works him over. Wheat Kings kind of come up with the puck. Arpin's in for it. It pops back out front for a shot blocked. Rebound sits in the slot for Potter. A try. McFadden the save, and he squeezes it against his armpit. Suddenly a dangerous chance for the Broncos after a relatively calm first half of the first period for Dylan McFadden. He was equal to the task. 10.5 to go in the first. Shots now 9-2 for the Wheat Kings, and they lead 2-0. Rob Bethal, Asher Lucas, and Ryan Boyce for the Wheat Kings up front. The opposing line, Carter Moen, Olescu, and Sexsmith for the Broncos, and Moen is the son of former NHLer and Stanley Cup champion, and for that matter, Broncos assistant coach, Travis Moen. Wheat Kings win the draw and send it around the far side. Walensky slammed up against the wall. We've got a penalty forthcoming. Another big hit by the Broncos, but they're off to the kill when they touch it. Lucas breaks in for the Wheat Kings. Right to the slot. Lucas walks in and fires, but it wide. Pantelis on the rebound, trying to lift it back up the boards. Picked up on the near side by Bethal as the Broncos tag up. We've got a penalty forthcoming. High sticking the call with 10-12 to go in the first period. Walensky took a high check, and then moments later, Bethal took one as well. It looks as if Sexsmith is the guilty party for the Broncos, so the first power play of this game will go the Wheat Kings' way with 10-12 to go in the first period, and that happened directly in front of the referee, so not much doubt but that one was going to end up in a Wheat Kings power play. Odit, Egan, Bethal, Boyce, and Ronald for the Wheat Kings face off on the far side of the Broncos zone. Clean win by the Wheat Kings on the draw. Ronald from the top to the near side, Bethal. Down the boards he goes to Boyce. The rolling puck wouldn't settle for him. Yerix picks it up for Swift Current and tries to eat it to kill the clock. 3 Wheat Kings join the pile. 3 Broncos too, but it's the Wheat Kings who come up with it. Ronald from the right point to the inside. Lots of traffic. He'll go to the left circle. Across to Bethal at the right. Bethal pulls the trigger, blocked by Dingman. Bethal gets it right back, but it's ruled to have been done with a hand pass. 9:48 to go in the first period. 1:37 in the Wheat King power play. We'll get a face-off in the neutral zone. Worth remembering that in preseason, everybody is still learning one another's tendencies and habits, so a hand pass play and a bit of awkwardness seems all the more likely. Wheat Kings will reset from the neutral zone. And again, they win the draw. Ronald on the far side carries over the red line. Getting harassed, he's forced to dump it in and does. Odit in the far corner for the Wheat Kings. Throws on the brakes, but the Wheat Kings are offside, and they took some time getting out. So the linesman is going to bring them back to the neutral zone. 9:38 to go in the first period. 33 seconds have elapsed on this Wheat King power play, and unfortunately not a lot happening on it so far for the Wheat Kings, so they'll send out a new unit. It's Jacobson, Serkan, Gavin, Pantelis, and Nick Johnson.
I know the first game I did, I was like...
Jacobson will take the draw on the far side. Wheat Kings win it. Pantelis now up the near side. He'll carry in himself. Dumping this in wide of the net to the far boards. Gray sends it up the wall for Swift Current and out to center ice. Chase Serkan on it right away. Stops on a dime and carries back ahead. Feeding it through to Nick Johnson. Wheat Kings have to reset. Jacobson on the far side slings it across to Gavin on the break-in, but again the Wheat Kings are ruled offside with 9:21 to go in the first period. 50 seconds gone in this Wheat Kings first power play of the game. They are out shooting the Broncos 9-2 and outscoring them 2-0. The power play, however, has not really broken through yet. The top unit, Gavin, Johnson, Jacobson, Serkan, and Pantelis will continue to try. Wilkie will take the draw for the Broncos, and he wins it back. Walker flings this down the ice. This will go in on McFadden from long range. He hands it off to Gio Pantelis. Behind the Wheat King net, watched closely by Bryant. Pantelis will lead the attack. Pantelis legs it ahead himself. Carves wide to his right and drops it back neatly for Gavin. Gavin will break in. Dropping it off on the far side, Serkan back to Gavin in the far corner, and the Wheat Kings are set. Pantelis from the top. Now to the far wall, Gavin on the rolling puck. He dodges down the boards. Handed it off to Johnson. Back to Gavin on the far side. To the top for Pantelis. From the left point to the near side, Jacobson. He'll take it off the end boards. Jacobson slammed up against the wall. 3 Broncos surround him. Wheat Kings get help from Serkan. Down to Nick Johnson. He strong arms his way up the near wall. Jacobson in to help as the Wheat Kings win it free to Pantelis from the right point. To the far side, Gavin. From the left circle, Gavin down the corner out to Serkan. He'll drop it off to Pantelis at the top. Pantelis fires, blocked. He'll get it right back and hand it off for Jacobson. Along the umbrella, feathered on to Gavin from the left circle. Gavin sends this back door off a skating just high. Gavin tried another bank shot. Serkan now on the near side for the Wheat Kings. Back to the top, Jacobson driving to his left. From the left circle, he shoots, put it just wide. And the rebound goes way high in the air and out of play with only a second on the clock in Sexsmith's minor. So the Wheat King power play will officially go without a shot on goal, though once they got set up, it looked a lot more dangerous. The Wheat Kings will send out Gleesman, Ralph, Beinernord, Arpin, and Turco. Potter, Olescu, Moen, and Pilsner answering for the Broncos. Standing in the box is Sexsmith, waiting to rejoin his team with the face-off in Bronco territory. 8:13 to go in the first. Wheat Kings lead 2-0 on goals by Arpin and Egan. Ralph for the draw. One back by the Broncos. We're back to 5-on-5 as the puck goes up the boards and hops its way to center. Easton Turco on it right away, sends it ahead. Broncos knock it down and break back in. Olescu drives the middle and shoots right into the trapper of McFadden. No rebound from him with 8:02 to go in the opening period. A little bit of pushing and shoving, but it will be quickly ended by the media timeout on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5. A pair of bank shots have the Wheat Kings up 2-0 with just over 8 minutes to go in this first period. Shots are 10-2 for the black and gold. Goals by Merrick Arpin and Jimmy Egan have them to the lead. Here with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 for Wheat Kings hockey. The Brandon Wheat Kings broadcast on Q Country 91.5 is copyrighted for the sole use of Pattison Media and our listeners. The face-off will be in Wheat King territory after the save by McFadden. It will be to his right, and Carson Ralph will take the draw against Carter Moen. Moen wins it back for the Broncos. To the left point for Pilsner. He'll go down the near wall. Tipped behind the Wheat King net. Sexsmith on it. Backhands it back out front. Chopped away by Merrick Arpin with a long reach. Sexsmith spins it back for another try by Moen. He couldn't pull the trigger. Feinernord pokes it up the middle and out to center ice. Potter knocks it down and slings it right back in. McFadden out to play it. He'll hand it off for Merrick Arpin. Arpin got lined up and hammered behind the net, but he's able to stay on the puck and get it ahead. Collected by Feinernord and dragged to center ice. Ralph over the blue line, wide to his right, throws on the brakes, fed it through to Gleesman. Gleesman forced to his backhand, forced it through. Feinernord spins and fires, save, rebound for Ralph on his forehand, robbery by Rocha as he sprawled out. Wheat Kings get the puck back. Turco from the left point able to keep it onside. Ralph on the far boards to the top for Cam Allard. Allard sends this through traffic and Rocha, moments after a 10-bell stop, makes a much calmer one as in front of him. Potter and Gleesman are into it, and behind him, Moen and Feinernord are getting acquainted. 7:17 to go in the first period. Temperature ratcheting up after the check on Merrick Arpin, who has the first goal of the game for the Wheat Kings. The rebound was there for Carson Ralph, and he did well to get to his forehand, but Rocha sprawled out with that left pad and took it away from him, which would have been Ralph's first of the preseason. In the meantime, Gleesman and Potter are still having to be bodily separated, and it's taking a couple of different linesmen to do it. Gunnar Gleesman, 6'4" and 210 pounds. If you ever think to yourself, I'd sure like to be a linesman, just remember, you have to move guys like that. Now, the extra penalty out of this skirmish has gone the Wheat Kings' way, but not to Gleesman. It's gone to Ben Feinernord, so it's 7:17 to go in the first and a 2-0 lead. The Wheat Kings are off to the penalty kill. Broncos send Bryant, Wilkie, Yerricks, Maureen, and Gray. Wheat Kings have Egan out for the draw. He'll tie up. Puck pops to the middle, then right back into the scrum. Odit tries to clear. Hard up the far boards it goes, and it hops its way out to center ice. Yerricks back into his own end for the Broncos. The left-hander comes out from behind his net. He'll drive wide and flip it up the middle to Maureen, who hands it off to Wilkie over the Wheat King blue line. Wilkie trying to split his way in, drives his way right to the net pad, save McFadden, rebound, score! We've got another bank shot, this time off a skate as Maureen was driving the net. It goes in off his right leg and puts the Broncos on the board with 6:55 to go in the first period. Swedish import William Maureen went right to the net on the rush by Wilkie. There was a rebound there for just long enough, and Maureen had it go off the outside of the heel of his skate from the looks of it. Wilkie was driving the net. His backhander left a rebound, and there was Maureen. So there'll be a conversation here about whether this was kicked in. Now, the Wheat Kings faithful are reacting to that. From that angle, it does look a little more like a kicking motion, though remember the way things work in the Western Hockey League. If he's outside the crease at the moment he kicks it, that's a very different set of rules than if he's inside the crease. We got to look at the replay here. Maureen goes for it, he kicks it, and, well, he's in the crease when it goes in, but he wasn't necessarily in the crease when he kicked it. Nonetheless, we're going to have a conversation here. The referees have gone over to the respective benches to sort things out, but whatever conversation needed to be had was brief. With 6:55 to go in the first, the Broncos' goal will be allowed to stand, so it is a 2-1 Wheat King lead. And not one of these three goals has gone off the stick of the player who directed it at the net. Bethal for the draw for the Wheat Kings, and his opponent will be Brennan Brown. Brown wins it for the Broncos, back into their zone. Brownlee on it, twisting and turning up the near side. Knocked out to center. Ronald for the Wheat King sends it ahead. Brown knocks it down and gains the Wheat King line, but lost the puck doing it. Cam Allard to the right of that Wheat King net. Pass ahead finds Bethal with some runway. He'll get over the red line and one-handed ahead. Stopped in his tracks by Brownlee, and Brown will take it for the Broncos. Lost it on the far side as Boyce was tracking him down. Bethal into the pile as well as the Broncos send this up the glass and down the ice. And a foot race now with Dingman skating onto it on the far side. He's tied up by Dylan Ronald. To the left of the Wheat King net, Ronald taken down by Dingman. As the Wheat Kings swarm back to help, they'll get it up the far side, but it hits the referee.
seeing their face.
In the far corner of Wheat Kings territory, Dingman picks it up, feeds it back out front. It's tapped away by Ronald. He'll carry wide to his left and sling this up the near side and down the ice. It hops its way in on Rocha from long range. Rocha will cover up with Voice and Lucas again nearby.
Hey fans, our next home game is the home opener for the regular season. The Moose Jaw Warriors are going to be in town. You do not want to miss it. Tickets are available at wheatkings.com.
All 3 goals have gone in off a Bronco. The faceoff will come up to the left of Rocha on the near side. Jacobson, Gavin, and Serkan for the Wheat Kings with Pantelis and Helinski. And Brown will take the draw against Jacobson on that near side to Rocha's left. Jacobson the clean win. Gavin spins down the boards on his backhand, trying to work off the wall. His pass bounces to Serkan. From the right circle, back to Gavin on the cycle, still twisting and turning. He pivots back and shakes loose. Jacobson from the right circle. Had his pass come back to him against the checking of Dingman. It's kicked free. Serkan swats at it, but the Broncos are able to drive it to center. Over the Wheat King blue line it comes. Helinski picks it up as the Broncos change. 5:43 to go in the first. To center goes Helinski. The Czech import had his pass picked off. The Broncos get it back on the far side. Potter from his own left circle lifts it up ice. Wheat Kings have it go past them into their zone. Helinski back forward against Gauthier. Gauthier takes him hard to the wall. Pantelis is in to help to the right of Dylan McFadden. Broncos kick it up the near boards. Wheat Kings tried to scrum it up with 5:21 to go in the first. Broncos come up with it. Gauthier back to the left point for Pilsner. He'll swat it back down low off the referee. Puck fed back out front, but the puck is knocked away by Jacobson, and he'll drive to center. Wide to his left, Jacobson airs this in. Gavin goes after it behind the Bronco net. Pilsner there first, but he lost it on the near side. Serkan for the Wheat Kings, back down low. Jacobson behind the net, spinning away from Potter, still in control. Jacobson working and pivoting back on the far side, throws it across, and it just got through to Gavin. From the right circle, Gavin stood up by Pilsner. Broncos fire this up the glass and down the ice. It'll hop into Wheat Kings territory, wide of McFadden, and Arpin is back to ensure icing with 4:48 to go in the first period. 2-1 the Wheat Kings lead. Their goal scorers are Arpin and Egan. William Maureen has the goal for the Broncos on the power play. Following the icing against Swift Current, it's Egan, Odit, Easton Turco, Arpin, and Johnson for the Wheat Kings. McCann, Hansen, Gauthier, Pilsner, and Potter trapped out for the Broncos following the icing. Face-off on the far side to Rocha's right. Scramble draw, Odit on it for the Wheat Kings, lost it to Gauthier, who pokes that neatly to center ice. Nick Johnson on it for Brandon. Backhand sauce pass finds Merrick Arpin on the near side. He'll work this ahead off a stick right to Gauthier of the Broncos. Gauthier lined up and hit by Johnson, and that frees up the puck. Easton Turco in. Poke check by Gauthier, who's back on it. Gauthier sends this ahead. Arpin was in his way. Forcing it ahead is Sexsmith. Sexsmith works it back out front, and a big-time right pad save by McFadden on Moen. On the near side. Wheat Kings unable to clear. Moen is on it. Off the goal line, he's poke checked by Easton Turco. Turco sends it up the near side. Jimmy Egan is on it, strong-arming his way up the boards, surrounded by blue sweaters. Egan comes up with the puck. To the far side for Easton Odit. At the red line, Odit will softly play this ahead. Lost it to Gray, but his pass pinball free to a Wheat King. Egan breaks in wide to his left, stood up by Gray. Wheat Kings get it back, but do so offside with 3:59 to go in the first period. So a little bit of what you might call preseason play on that shift. Both teams struggling a little bit there to make the puck do what they want it to do. It is a 2-1 Wheat King lead. Face-off on the far side of the neutral zone. Ralph, Gleesman, and Bindernord for the Wheat Kings against Maureen, Bryant, and Wilkie of the Broncos. Wilkie and Bryant combining for the Bronco goal as the Wheat Kings try to dump it, but the Broncos block it. At the red line, Gleesman chops it to the far side. After it is Gray of the Broncos, pursued back into his zone. He makes the handoff on the near side, up to Maureen, the goal scorer. At the red line, he's stood up by Cam Allard. Wheat Kings take the puck, flipped ahead to Gleesman. He'll sweep this into Bronco territory. It rolls in on Rocha, and Rocha decides to just hang on as Gleesman and Yerricks are into it now. And the linesman will again have to come in to pull them apart. Meantime, Ben Bindernord is mixing it up with Nathan Gray. The linesmen are Johnny on the spot to make sure nobody does anything more than use hurtful language. 3:38 to go in the first period. 14-6 are the shots on goal for the Wheat Kings. Your shots for Kyle Ryan Denture Clinic. Wheat Kings lead 2-1 on goals by Arpin and Egan. Carson Ralph for the draw for the Wheat Kings on the near side of Bronco territory. His opponent will be Brown of the Broncos. And Ralph wins it back. Allard from the right point unloads through traffic off a couple of sticks and wide. Brown's first to it for Swift Current. Pass to center, swept away, kick to the far side. Birch catches up to it for the Broncos and is forced to dump it, then got dumped himself by Dylan Ronald. Allard to the right of the Wheat King net, spun around by Dingman. Brown for Swift Current, back to the left point, Brownlee to the far side for a one-timer by Hawker, save McFadden. Dingman finds the rebound, knocks it wide. Dingman on his backhand, poke check by Cam Allard. Wheat Kings collect the loose puck, and Ben Binerord will carry ahead. Thrown to the near side for Gleesman. At center, Gleesman gains the line and dumps it in. Ralph will go to the forecheck as the Wheat Kings change. Sent up the near side with 3 minutes to go in the first. Dingman settles down the rolling puck for Swift Current. He'll carry ahead for Brown. Over the Wheat King blue line, dumped into McFadden's right. And back forward is Helinski of Brandon.
What surprises?
Helinski's pass finds Boyce at center. He'll try to break ahead, but the Broncos had that sealed off. Gauthier will get the red line and dump it in. Helinski goes back for it to the right of the Wheat King net. He'll send it around the far side. Boyce chops it up the wall. Gauthier gloves it down to hold for the Broncos. Gauthier sends this on goal, but McFadden sees that all the way with 2:34 remaining in the first period. 2-1, the Wheat Kings still lead. The lone Bronco goal came on the power play. The Wheat Kings, meanwhile, 0-for-1 on their man advantage. Rob Bethal will have the face-off for Brandon. He's got Hansen, Gauthier, and McCann against him for the Broncos. Hansen and Boyce, by the way, teammates with Okotoks last year, as the draw is won back to Potter of the Broncos, thrown down low. Puck pinballs out front, but Hansen couldn't pull the trigger, and Boyce is out to center. Chopped ahead for Lucas, who forces it over the Bronco blue line with a couple of nice chip plays. Potter knocks it down for Swift Current. Lucas drives him to the wall and comes up with the puck on the far side. Boyce hard into the pile, but the Broncos are able to escape. Up the near side, Pilsner, poke check neatly by Prob Bethal. He'll break back in up the near wall. Bethal left it there for Lucas from the right circle. Lucas sends this back door of a skating just wide. Bethal unloads, Rocha the save. He's looking behind him, but he knocked it behind the net instead of into it. Pantelis holds the rolling puck from the right point. He'll dump this back down low. Boyce on it for the Wheat Kings, able to fight it loose from Potter. Asher Lucas joins the pile as well for the Wheat Kings on that far side, and Jacobson comes up with it. Thrown back down low. Helinski trying to send this on goal for Boyce, who tips it on goal, save Rocha. Wheat Kings fight for the rebound, but it's found by the Broncos. McCann, he'll steer this to the far side, and out to center they come. Hansen dumps it and goes for a change. 1:38 to go in the first period. Pantelis waiting for the Wheat Kings to complete their own change, sends it to center ice, where it's collected by Yerix of the Broncos. Moen at the red line for Swift Current, dumps it ahead. Pantelis comes in to cut it off. It's thrown back out front. Right pad save McFadden. And he hangs on as in front of him and lurking close by was Alescu with 1:24 to go in the first. It's still a 2-1 Wheat King lead. Goals off the tape of, well, goals by Merrick Arpin, Jimmy Egan, and William Maureen. Interestingly, none of them have actually gone in off their tape. It's been that kind of night. Jacobson for the draw on the far side for the Wheat Kings. As Arpin, Turco, Serkan, and Gavin with him. Jacobson will face Moen in the dot to McFadden's left. And Jacobson's won another draw. Around the Wheat King net up the near side, Easton Turco's pinned hard to the wall. He gets support from Jacobson and Gavin in a scrum to the right of McFadden. Jacobson trying to push the pile. He knocks down Moen and comes up with the puck. Arpin has it behind the Wheat King net. To the far side for Serkan on a quick breakout. He'll fire it up ice again. Gavin catching up to it on the near side. Gavin shields it well, but Yurex boxes him out. Broncos go up the boards. It's gloved down by Easton Turco. Broncos have numbers the other way, though. Sexsmith over the blue line, wide to his left. From the left circle, he shoots. Pad save McFadden. Rebound, McFadden got that too. Another rebound. McFadden stopped it again. McFadden sprawls out. They're jousting away at him, but he's got control of it with 49.2 to go in the first. A flurry of chances by the Broncos in the final minute of this first frame to square the score. But McFadden answers the bell from point-blank range. Wheat Kings will take advantage of the opportunity to get fresh legs to the ice. Allard, Ronald, Johnson, Egan, and Odit. Moments after Dylan McFadden had to make a flurry of saves from less than a stick length away. Wilkie of the Broncos will take the draw against Jimmy Egan. Linesman cautions both players. We'll try that draw one more time. Shots now 15-12 for the Wheat Kings as the Broncos push back heavily on that shift. Wheat Kings get the draw. Allard bounces it ahead, picked off by Brownlee. From the left point, he'll throw it back out front. Maureen had it swept away by Allard. Allard behind the Wheat King net, unable to clear. Egan picks it up. Now to Nick Johnson on the near side, bounced around the far boards. Allard will skate onto it with 33 seconds to go. His backhand pass flips its way to center ice. Nick Johnson picks it up. He'll dodge the check of Maureen and feed it over the line for Egan. From the left circle, a rising shot goes high and wide. Allard from the right circle for the Wheat Kings sends it wide of the net to the far side where it's picked up by the Broncos' Hockner. He'll get up the far boards and get it to center ice. Bryant dumps this in wide of McFadden. 14 seconds to go. Allard and Wilkie hard to the far wall. Allard getting wrapped up but makes the handoff to Dylan Ronald. Wheat Kings will take the puck. Egan goes up the boards to the line, not out. Good keep by Birch. Long range shot blocked. Rebound comes to Maureen, but he's poke checked before he can shoot. Out to center it comes, and that'll do it for period number one. The Wheat Kings look to be in full control, out shooting the Broncos 10-2. and their power play didn't click, and suddenly the Broncos got momentum. They got back on the board and back into it and tightened up the shot clock dramatically too, but the Wheat Kings do still have the 2-1 lead. We'll go to our first intermission here on Q Country 91.5, and as we do, we'll wait to be joined by Mike Philipchuk, the Director of Operations for the office of the Brandon Wheat Kings, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the plans for home opener, and there are a lot of plans for home opener. Of course, we'll recap the period that was, and we'll see what the rest of the hockey world has to tell us on this Friday night of preseason action in the Western Hockey League when we return on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5.
Just keep the net there for a second. Keep the net there for a second. Are we good to go? Alrighty, I think we're good to go here. We've got Braden, we've got Damien. They're gonna try to hit some pucks into a net. Who's gonna go first? Braden looks like he's ready. You're ready to go first? 4 shots, we got some prizes on the line. We're going to line them all up. And Braden, you're good to go. Let's see it. Uh-oh. All right, that one went a little bit to the left. Shot number 2. That one went more left. You got to take it to the right just a little bit. Not that much to the right. All right, one more shot for Braden. All right, there we go on the last one. Braden gets it. All right, Damien. Shot number 1 for Damien. Bang, 1 for 1. Shot 2. Little bit to the left. Shot number 3. Also to the left. All right, 4th and final shot for Damien. And that one's going to go to the left as well. Thanks for playing, guys. We got some prizes for you right here.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
That wasn't that bad.
Oh, it was good.
Okay, I feel better.
3 goals in that first period, all of them going off a Bronco, but it's the Wheat Kings who lead 2-1 as a couple of defensive sticks turn into offensive ones as the Wheat Kings got goals from Merrick Arpin and Jimmy Egan. You're with Rob Mann on Q Country 91.5 and the Wheat Kings YouTube stream, and we're joined on our first intermission by Mike Philipchuk, the Director of Business Operations from the Brandon Wheat Kings. Mike, this is obviously a hugely important time of year off the ice for the Wheat Kings. What have the preparations been like for that home opener?
We've been hard at work getting things ready for the home opener. Aside from getting the team ready, the team on the ice, exhibition games, we're also putting on a massive tailgate party outside before the home opener next week. Free food, band, bouncy castles, lots of stuff for family. Check out the new Wheat King team bus. Lots going on.
The home opener is always a bit of a full-scale production. Of course, you've got the on-ice side of things, and the coaching staff and the training staff will take care of that as best they're able to between now and next Friday. But you mentioned there's a lot going on around the event as well. If people want to take part in the full thing, What time should they be arriving at ACU Place?
So the tailgate party is going to start at 3:30 over on the east side where the stage is. 3:30 to 6:30, like I mentioned, there's food trucks, family-friendly games. The Wheat King bus will be there for tours, DJ on site, and we're also going to have Manitoba's own Kate's Outlaw. They are a Canadian country music band from Dauphin, but getting lots of acclaim across Canada right now, and they will be joining us from 5 to 6 on the stage.
It feels really fitting to have a Westman band involved in this because the Wheat Kings are such a Brandon and Westman production themselves. And when you see the reaction from Westman on these home opener nights and you see the way it all comes together and the community comes together, what's that like for you?
Yeah, it's exciting for us. We want to try to keep everything Westman and community as we can. So bringing in Kate's Outlaw from Dauphin, Assiniboine Credit Union coming in and merging with Westoba and becoming a piece of our community as well. It's just exciting for everybody and a new chapter for Westman.
Both on Q Country 91.5 and on the Q Country 91.5 website, and of course on the blogs, the In the Field blogs on the website there. We've been talking a lot about the expectations on the ice for this Wheat Kings team. You have a lot of conversations with season ticket holders and fans and people who are going to be in the building, filling the stands this year. Do you get a sense that they are as excited as the team seems to be about the on-ice direction this group is going?
Yeah, our fan base, the people that I talk to on a day-to-day are really excited about the prospects of this team. We've got a good core group returning. We've got some great young guys, as you've seen in training camp and these exhibition games. So the fans have a lot to be excited about. I think this is going to be a great season for the Brandon Wheat Kings Hockey Club.
For the fans who want to be part of that season, whether on home opener or throughout, what do they need to do?
So you can come see us at the Wheat King office. We can hook you up with tickets, or you can go to wheatkings.com, grab your tickets on your mobile device or on your laptop.
Mike, we always appreciate you taking the time to come in and tell us what to look forward to here in Brandon, and we are all looking forward to the home opener.
Thanks, Rob.
Mike Philipchuk, Director of Business Operations for the Wheat Kings, the man steering the ship off the ice for this team. And the Wheat Kings on the ice lead 2-1 over the Swift Current Broncos. We'll recap that first period in more detail when we return on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5. pinching up. Arbin walks in, throws it back door, scores! Merrick Arbin was looking for Jordan Gavin. I'm not sure it ever got there. But a minute 50 into the first period, the Wheat Kings lead 1-0. On the rebound, sends it to the near side. Jacobson hooked back out front for Serkan. Serkan fires, pad save, Rocha. Bronco net. Up the far side, Gray on it for Swift Current. His pass bounces around, and Odin is on it again. Egan feeds it through to him, scores! Jimmy Egan tried to work it back out front, and for the second time in the first period, a pass attempt by the Wheat Kings gets deflected right past Rocha. To footboard, it pops back out front for a shot blocked. Rebound sits in the slot for Potter. A try, McFadden the save, and he squeezes it against his armpit. Wilkie over the Wheat King blue line. Wilkie trying to split his way in, drives his way right to the net. Pad save, McFadden. Rebound score. As Maureen was driving the net, it goes in off his right leg and puts the Broncos on the board with 6:55 to go in the first period. Forcing it ahead is Sexsmith. Sexsmith wants it back out front, and a big-time right pad save by McFadden on Mullen. To the blue line, wide to his left. From the left circle, he shoots. Pad save, McFadden. Rebound, McFadden got that too. Another rebound, McFadden stopped it again. McFadden sprawls out. They're jousting away at him, but he's got control of it with 49.2 to go in the first.
See, I could cook something, but I just...
I thought about let's just get one of those big boxes of Fruit Loops, but now I'm
So
can you, like, technically could, at, like, let's say 11 p.m., could you go and eat at BU, like, in the, their set times?
A scrambly first period in many ways, but the Wheat Kings came out on top of the scramble, leading 2-1 after 20 minutes and going into the second period at 5-on-5. You're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 for Wheat Kings hockey. Shots are 15-13 in the Wheat Kings' favor as they return to the ice and we get ready for the second period. McFadden takes the crease to my right for the Wheat Kings. Joey Rocha, the other number 35 in this game, takes the crease to my left for the Swift Current Broncos. Before the second period begins, we'll take a quick peek at the out-of-town scoreboard for Stride Credit Union. Late in the third period, and I mean late in the third period, Spokane's up 4-0 on Seattle. I think they're going to win. No start yet between the Moose Jaw Warriors and Saskatoon Blades, nor between the Calgary Hitmen and Edmonton Oil Kings, but the Warriors and Blades are getting ready to start at any moment. Red Deer and Lethbridge will do the same, and then from Yukon, we will have the Medicine Hat Tigers and Kelowna Rockets. We've also got the Prince George Cougars and Kamloops Blazers, Penticton Bees and Portland Winterhawks, and Everett Silvertips and Victoria Royals rounding out the out-of-town scoreboard for Stride Credit Union. Visit stridecu.ca and become a member today. As we get ready for the second period for Westman Communications Group, the Wheat Kings lead off with the same five-man unit that led off the first. Nick Johnson, Jimmy Egan, Easton Oded up front, Adam Holinsky and Gio Pantelis on the back end against Gauthier for the Broncos, Hansen and McCann up front, Gray and Yerricks on defense. Egan will take the draw for the Wheat Kings. They go forward with it and win it, and we are underway. Broncos collected on the far side, sent to the near side for Gauthier. He stood up by Easton Oded, who dumps it right back into Bronco territory. Rocha speeds it on its way up the far side. McCann chops it up the wall and out. Pantelis is on it to send it right back in. It rolls behind Rocha. Yerricks after it. Chopped at by Jimmy Egan. Egan makes the strip, feeds it back out front. Pantelis winding to his left, nearly got stripped himself, now does. Gauthier's pulling ahead into the clear. Pantelis trying to track him. Gauthier shoots, save McFadden, rebound, score! McFadden made the initial stop, but McCann following up potted one, and just 31 seconds into the second period, we are tied at 2. It was good work by Gauthier to make the strip at the defensive blue line for the Broncos, offensive blue line for the Wheat Kings. Gauthier tried to go high blocker. McFadden beat him, but the next man on the puck was wearing blue, and it was Ashton McCann to tie us up at a pair. 19:29 to go in the second. We're back on equal footing as Serkan, Jacobson, and Gavin come out for the Wheat Kings with Allard and Ronald. Jacobson ties up and kicks it back. Gavin will fire this in on Rocha from distance. Rocha's out to glove it down. He'll speed it up the near side. Hawker trying to track it for the Broncos. Gavin comes in and erases him on the near side. Wheat Kings try to come up with the puck. Bryant poke check, but the Broncos follow up and get it to center. Cam Allard collects for the Wheat Kings. He'll dump this up the far boards and out to the neutral zone. Jacobson carries ahead up the right side. Jacobson from the right circle works it to the forehand. Scored. Oh, he hit the crossbar. Jacobson put it bar straight south, but it bounces out. Marine over the Wheat King blue line. from the right circle. He'll throw this back to the top. It misses everybody, and Gavin has it for Brandon. Sped through to Jacobson, driving the middle over the Bronco blue line. Made a move and handed it off. Back to the top for Allard. Allard had his pass blocked, and the Broncos come back with numbers as we go end to end. Over the blue line goes Wilkie, wide to his left from the left circle. He shoots, scores!
Oh.
That one went off the post and in, as with 18:41 to go in the second, just like that, the Broncos have taken the lead. The Wheat Kings came inches away from taking it themselves, but where one shot went off the crossbar and down, another one went off the post and in. This one by Trey Wilkie of Swift Current, and not yet 90 seconds into this second period, the Broncos have their first lead of the weekend. So the Wheat Kings will come back with Boyce, Bethal, Lucas, Arpin, and Turco. Bethal will take the draw, and Carter Moen will be his opponent.
You almost thought you were going to do phone.
All ties up and wins it. Broncos swarm after it on the far side. Merrick Arpin there first will lift it ahead. To the near side for Potter of the Broncos. He'll make a move on Boyce, who stays right with him and thumps him, but the Broncos get it out. At center, the pinballing puck found by Sexsmith. One to the near side of Bronco territory. Boyce tracks him down. Potter drags it ahead for the Broncos. Moen tries to one-hand it into Wheat King territory. Following up, it comes back to center ice, where Pilsner knocks it down for the Broncos and steers it into the Wheat King zone.
I think I'm going to
First to it is Moen behind the Wheat King net. Out the near side on his forehand, pivoting back. Moen sheds a check in the near corner, feeds it back out front. The rolling puck wouldn't settle for Sexsmith. Boyce trying to lift it out for the Wheat Kings. Sexsmith gets it first. Back down low, Easton Turco picks it off and works it around the far side for Arpin, who opened the scoring in this game. Moen goes body on body with him, but the Wheat Kings get the puck, and they'll lift it to center. Asher Lucas was poke checked before he could get very far. Arpin will follow up and make sure it gets the rest of the way into Swift Current territory. Broncos lead 3-2 early in the second of this preseason game. Yerrick's overskated it. Gleesman picked it back off and dumped it down low. Beinernord hard on the forecheck, freed up the puck for a moment. Gray steers it up the far side boards. Picked off on the near side by Beinernord. Gleesman holds the line for a moment before Gray forces it past him. At center, the Wheat Kings take it back again. Lots of body checking on this shift by Gleesman, Beinernord, and Ralph. Gleesman now to the forecheck for behind the Bronco net for Beinernord. Up the near side, Gleesman comes in with another check. Broncos lifted up the wall. Helinski holds the zone. Puck comes free to Gleesman from the left circle, but he's tied up and can't shoot. Brown for the Broncos to the red line and over the Wheat King blue line for Birch from the right circle. He shoots, but his stick abandoned him, and the puck rolls to the far side, where Beinernord takes over. To center for Gleesman. He'll shield the puck and feed the middle. It rolls through to the Broncos. Birch bouncing around at center. Ralph is on it for the Wheat Kings. He'll wind it up and dump it, but it goes off a stick and high and out of play. 16:52 to go in the second. Broncos have taken the lead on the shot clock, 17-15, and taken the lead where it matters most, 3-2 on early goals by Ashton McCann and Trey Wilkie. Try and stem the tide a bit. The Wheat Kings come back with Odit, Egan, Johnson, Allard, and Ronald. Egan will take the draw, and Hansen will be his opponent. Hansen has Gauthier and McCann along with him, and it was that duo that connected on the goal for the Broncos 31 seconds into this second period. Egan for the draw, nose to nose with Hansen. Linesman decides everybody's in the right place, so the puck is dropped. The Broncos have it. Hawker peels back on the near side to the far side for Brownlee. Lifted up ice, knocked over the red line, but no further. It pinballs back into the Broncos zone and rolls in wide of Rocha, who comes out to play it. Up the far boards. Odert is on it first. He'll send it back down low to Nick Johnson. On the rolling puck, swept up the near side. Ronald from the left point for the Wheat Kings holds the line and dumps it back down the wall. Egan sends it the rest of the way to the corner, read by Hansen and cleared away by the Broncos. Up the near side boards in Swift Current territory. Gauthier got clobbered down by Egan, but made the play to center. Ronald knocks down the rolling puck, but Hansen carries back in onside. Into the near corner against Cam Allard, who stays right with him. Wheat Kings take the puck and shovel it around the far boards. Gauthier there first for Swift Current. He tries to go back the other way. Egan seals him off in the far corner with 16:07 to go in the second. Wheat Kings down 3-2, pardon me. Sent up the far boards in the Wheat King zone. Nick Johnson lifts the backhander high to center. Potter will knock it down for the Broncos and go to the far side. Now Potter gets the return feed. Up to McCann at center, quickly to the far side. It's into the Wheat King zone, but it missed everybody in Bronco colors. Fortunately for Swift Current, it rolled in on McFadden. Ronald to the far side for Cam Allard, too far for him. Wilkie couldn't pick it off, though. Flip to the near side for Serkan over the Bronco blue line. Fed back to Jacobson. He'll throw it across, looking for Gavin. Good read by Bryant. Wheat Kings hold the zone. Easton Turco driving right to the slot, throws it low. Gavin sends it back door, and Serkan was tied up. Wilkie for the Broncos, hard up the far boards and all the way down the ice. Arpin will get there, so no icing against Swift Current. Arpin goes up the far boards again. Tip through to Serkan. Over the blue line, wide to his right. The puck stuck on him, but he'll get it back. From that right wall, Chase Serkan feeds it through looking for Jacobson. He was boxed out. Serkan gets it back. He's poke checked before he can shoot. Arpin has to back off as Wilkie collects the puck for the Broncos. Bryant breaks in for Swift Current. Wide to his right, got taken down. Puck worked back across the ice. There's a penalty coming to the Wheat Kings. They have not yet touched up. Yerrick's on the far side. Poke checked by Arpin. And as the Wheat Kings join a pile to the right of McFadden, they will get possession. Tripping will be the call against Easton Turco with 14:57 to go in this second period. So the Wheat Kings, already having given up a pair in this middle frame, will go to the kill. They are 0 for 1 on the penalty kill. The Broncos scored on their first power play as Maureen kicked one in. It's Sexsmith, Moen, Alescu, Gray, and Yerrick's for the Broncos on this early second period power play as they try to stretch their lead. Binder Nord, Lucas, Pantelis, and Helinski, the penalty killers for the Wheat Kings. Face off to the right of McFadden on the far side of Wheat King territory, and the Broncos win it. Helinski tries to seal them on that far wall. Gray comes up with it for Swift Current. Moen from the left circle for the Broncos. Back up the boards patiently. He'll hand it off. At the left point now, held by Yerrick's. To the near side, Sexsmith. From the right circle, he'll throw it across. Missed his target. Gray from the left circle. Works it back out front. Blocked. He'll get it back behind the Wheat King net. Gray still up from his point position. Finds the near side, Sexsmith. He curls back at the right circle. Pivoting, Sexsmith still leaves it there for the top for Yerrick's. Back to Sexsmith at the right side. He shoots through traffic. McFadden makes the trapper save through the screen of Alescu and hangs on. 1:28 to go in Turco's minor as the Wheat Kings try to stay within one. They'll get Odit and Egan to the ice in a penalty-killing role. Lucas and Bindernord will head off, but Pantelis and Helinski remain the defensemen. You're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 for Wheat Kings hockey. 3-2 the Wheat Kings trail. On second period goals by the Broncos, Wilkie and McCann. Egan for the draw, wins it for the Wheat Kings. Pantelis chased out from behind his net, fires it high and hard off the glass, and all the way into Bronco territory it goes. 1:20 to go in Easton Turco's minor. Behind the Bronco net, Hawker lifts it ahead. On to Morin, who has their power play goal. Chased from behind by Easton Odit. He one-hands it into Wheat King territory. Wilkie in the near corner for Swift Current. He's got some time and uses it, working cautiously up the boards. From the right circle, Wilkie fires, save McFadden, and no rebound. He will let that drop into his catching glove after taking it around the shoulder area. 1:03 to go in the Wheat King penalty kill. 6 minutes played in this second period. Goals by Arpin and Egan got the Wheat Kings to a 2-0 lead. The Broncos have since scored 3 of their own to take the lead themselves. Ronald and Arpin are now the Wheat Kings defensemen on this penalty kill. Egan wins another draw on the near side. Arpin spins back and one-hands it ahead. It comes right back to him, and he'll get the clear. Chopped ahead by Odit, who knocks it past Brownlee up the near side. All the way into the near corner. Odit's 1-on-2. He'll try to rag the puck and kill a little bit of the clock with 50 seconds to go in Turco's minor. Sent to the far side of the Broncos zone. Wilkie skates onto it. To center he comes over the Wheat King blue line. Chips it past Arpin and goes in after it on the far side. Ronald erases him in the corner to McFadden's right. Wheat Kings swarm in on it. Broncos do as well. Egan takes the puck. He's forced to spin. Got knocked down by Maureen. Egan from his knees still trying to bottle the Broncos up. Does for a moment, but Maureen comes up with it. Pilsner from the top, from the right point. Throws it off to the right circle. Wilkie. Up the boards, Wilkie patiently. Throws it across to the far side. Hockner. Hockner sends this down low. Chopped away by the Wheat Kings. Odit can't clear the rolling puck. Wilkie for the Broncos, carrying down the far boards. Harassed by Odit every step of the way. Odit then works him over and pins him hard to the wall. 10 seconds to go in Easton Turco's minor. Dylan Ronald trying to kick it out for the Wheat Kings. He does. He'll rifle this around the glass. Up the boards it comes and down the ice. And that'll do it for the remainder of Turco's penalty as the Wheat Kings stay within one. Pilsner behind the Bronco net, chased out by Jacobson, who knocked him off the puck for a moment. Pilsner able to escape. Serkan on the far side holds the line. He's got Jacobson with him. From the right circle out to Jacobson, to his backhand, scores! Jacobson set up Serkan a time or two in the last game, and now the rookie repays the favor, and Jacobson cashes in from close range. We are tied at 3 with 12:42 to go in the second. Jacobson had Rocha beat cleanly on a shot earlier in this second period. This time he sold the shot, cut backhand, and the Wheat Kings are into a tie game again. Serkan setting up Jacobson. That continues, by the way, a preseason-long point streak for Chase Serkan, his 3rd game in a row with at least the 1 point. As off the draw, the Broncos collect it. Gray will dump it ahead to Tingman, who got lined up and belted by Cam Allard in front of the Wheat King bench. Carrying back in, Wheat Kings collected on the far side. Helinski twisting and turning, left it for Allard at the left circle. Top ice pass pinballs its way in on Rocha from long range, and Rocha's going to have to cover that as Jacobson was right in front of him. 12:24 to go in the second period. Wheat Kings and Broncos tied at 3 after Jacobson's first of the preseason, though not his first point and not the first goal, involving Jacobson and Serkan.
We don't have much to do right now.
The Wheat Kings will counter with Binder Nord, Gleesman, and Ralph up front. Broncos have Brown in the faceoff circle against Ralph on the near side of Swift Current territory.
Probably around 9:45.
The Wheat Kings win the draw. Gleesman back to the top for Allard. Allard sends this off the stick of Dingman and high. Birch will glove it down and carry to center. Birch at the Wheat King bench dumped it in. It goes to the right of McFadden. Brown and Helinski after it. Helinski takes him to the wall. Wheat Kings claim the puck. Gleesman on the far side, lifts it to center and hustles after it. Yerricks is there first for the Broncos, but Gleesman knocks it past him. Broncos get this up the middle and out to center. Hansen is on it. Dragging back into his own territory. Hansen on the far side carries ahead. We got a penalty coming to the Wheat Kings here as it rides the glass in Wheat King territory. Goche at the bottom of the right circle trying to shield the puck and does. He'll go back to the top for Wilkie, but it hops on him out to neutral territory, and Wilkie will back up into his own zone. To the far side, he goes for Hockner. Hockner's pass off ice is taken away, and on the far side, Gleesman fills him in after he let the puck go. Wilkie and Gleesman will have a quick chat, but the linesman will make sure it's nothing more than a chat with 11:41 to go in this second period and a penalty coming up to the Wheat Kings anyway. The Broncos might prefer that nothing more comes of this. The Wheat Kings penalty box door is open and high sticking is the call. Gunnar Gleesman will head off. We are tied at 3. Jacobson squared us up at that just moments ago, but the Wheat Kings are back to the kill, sending Johnson, Boyce, Pantelis, and Ronald. The Broncos answer with Potter, Wilkie, Pilsner, Morin, and Bryce Bryant. The Verdun native and member of the Verdun Oil Capitals. No doubt had this weekend circled on the calendar. Draw one by the Broncos. From the left point, Pilsner goes down low, shielded well by Bryant. He'll dance off the wall and curl back again. Pilsner. Return feed to Bryant on the far side. Back to Pilsner at the left point. He'll go skate to stick. Back down the far side. Bryant from that left circle with time. Waits, throws it back out front, just missed Maureen. Wilkie will keep it on side. To the middle, Potter had it knocked away by Boyce on the far side. Boyce will get it to center, knock it past Potter and try to stream ahead. Potter recovers to prevent the shorthanded opportunity, but Boyce doing hard work knocks it back into the Broncos zone. First 30 seconds of Gleesman's minor have elapsed. Broncos go back the other way, led by Wilkie. Over the red line to his left, he'll rifle this into the Wheat Kings zone. Up the near side, Ronald squeezes off his man on the near boards. Wheat Kings pour in on it and try to take the puck. Nick Johnson does. Johnson will skate ahead, dodging more and patiently. He'll just dump this in wide of Rocha with 1:09 to go in Gleesman's minor. The Wheat Kings will get fresh legs. Potter behind the Bronco net. Forced to wait as Odets right in this mix. He'll throw it up the far side to Pilsner. Over the red line comes Pilsner. He'll dump this off the glass, narrowly missing the linesman and sending it in deep. Behind the Wheat King net, Egan is on it, got taken down. Helinski's in to help. Helinski will come up with the puck, and he'll just fire this high and hard down the ice, skipping its way wide of Rocha with 45 seconds to go in the minor. 10:25 to go in the second. We're tied at 3. Jacobson has the most recent goal. Sexsmith at center, lost it to Easton Odom with a good sweep check. He'll hustle off and give the Wheat Kings some fresh penalty-killing legs. Yerricks for the Broncos, 30 seconds to go in their power play. He'll carve his way ahead. To the far side he goes for Gray. Gray got sealed off right away by Merrick Arpin. Arpin takes it behind the Wheat King net. Lost in some feet. Helinski's there to help to the left of McFadden. As McFadden has it, or sees it pinned behind him, Helinski's trying to lift this out for the Wheat Kings so they can get the clear. Helinski got it knocked off his tape. Broncos take it. Alescu from the right point. Cautiously in, he'll fire this off a body, and it comes free to Bethal, who gets the backhander down the ice. 5 seconds to go in Gleesman's minor. He's standing in the box. Rocha's out to play it up the near side to Dingman. Dingman makes a move to the inside as we're back to 5-on-5. Pantelis pinches up. Dingman follows up and carries ahead. Surrounded by white sweaters, he fights his way through. Easton Turco tries to stand him up. Dingman keeps on going. Behind the Wheat King net, Bethal trying to lift it loose. Coming up with it to the Broncos. A wraparound play back out front. McFadden holds his ground. Puck swept to the far boards, and Asher Lucas is on it. Got hauled down by Dingman, and that's going to be a penalty against him. Wheat Kings get it back to center in the meantime. Chase Serkan to the far side for Bethal. Skate to stick. He gets past Brownlee on the far side. Bethal trying to drive the net back out front. Brownlee had him wrapped up and forced him to get a half-hearted shot in on Rocha, which will lead to a Wheat King power play when we come back on your home of the Wheat Kings, Cute Country, 91.5.
Little European friend from Swift. There's a guy that was roaming the Keystone Center lot, and he came up to the Wheat King office, and my dad goes, "Go with Sarah, she'll take you to the sing room." I'm like, then you got lost again, and they wouldn't let him down. I'm like, holy moly, buddy. Where is he? Sir,
He's still roaming.
he's still roaming the Keystone. I'll be like, where's Sarah?
Asher Lucas draws the penalty, and for the second time in this game, the Wheat Kings will go to the man advantage. They are tied at 3 with the Swift Current Broncos. Shots are 19-17 for the Broncos. You're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5. This Brandon Wheat Kings broadcast is copyrighted and for the sole use of Pattison Media and our listeners. It's Jacobson, Johnson, Pantelis, Gavin, and Serkan for the Wheat Kings. Serkan and Jacobson connected on the most recent goal in the game. The Broncos will get Hawker to the ice with Brownlee, McCann, and Otto Hansen. Jacobson for the draw on the near side to Roach's right in Bronco territory. 9:08 to go in the second. Wheat Kings look to get the lead back on their second man advantage of the contest. Jacobson and Hansen for the draw. Jacobson left-handed, Hansen a righty. And tied up off the draw, the Wheat Kings win it. Pantelis from the top to the far side. Gavin off his skate and out to center. Pantelis is on it right away. Pantelis shielding it against Hansen. Hansen staying with him as Pantelis tracks it down on the near side. They'll leave it there for Jacobson on the drop. Jacobson goes back behind the Wheat King net to reset things. Accelerating ahead is Jacobson. Wide to his left over the Bronco blue line. Left it for Serkan to the far side. Johnson back to Gavin in the clear. Gavin works it back to Jacobson. Scores! Well, you don't draw him up any prettier than that. Jackson Jacobson cashes in after a gorgeous cross-seam series of passes. The Wheat Kings have the lead back. Preseason maybe, but the chemistry's in mid-season form. Serkan threw it across the ice. Ready and waiting was Johnson. He fed it through to Gavin, and Gavin had the presence of mind and touch with the stick to get it through to Jacobson, who was staring at an awful lot of net there for his second goal of the second period. 8:42 to go in the middle frame. The Wheat Kings have the lead back. They'll get Ralph, Biner, Norden, and Gleesman back to the surface against Wilkie, Bryant, and on the far side, Maureen. So each team's got a power play goal now in this one. And here in the second period, we have a run of goals that actually went off the stick of the player intending to put it in. On the far side of the Broncos zone, knocked out to center and back into Wheat King territory. Helinski leaves it there for Ralph. Carson Ralph winds it up from in front of the Wheat King net. He'll dodge Wilkie and accelerate ahead. Ralph wide to his right over the Bronco blue line. Left it there for Biner Nord. Biner Nord sends it down low. Broncos are on it with Potter. Biner Nord spins him off the puck. Ralph joins the pile and pushes Potter hard off the puck. Biner Nord takes it out the near side. Fed back out front, saved by Rocha. Bryant legs it ahead for the Broncos. Over the Wheat King blue line, wide to his left with a nifty move. Bryant tries to work it back on goal. Shoulder save McFadden. Biner Nord sends the rebound ahead on the Wheat King breakout. Ralph through center to his right. He'll dump this in, and Gleesman will go to the forecheck behind the Bronco net, shoulder on shoulder with Potter. The Broncos have numbers enough to get it up the boards. Wilkie on his backhand, spins away from Egan. Wilkie still in control, moves it up the near side, but he's poke checked. This goes harmlessly into the Wheat King zone. Merrick Arpin back for it to the left of his net. He skates away from the forecheck of Maureen. Now tries to dodge Alescu, left it there for Easton Turco. Broncos get it off the turnover, work it back to the front of the net for a shot, score! In front of the Wheat King net, a bit of a hiccup, and Alescu was there to cash in to tie us up at 4 with 7:36 to go in what has been a highly offensive second period. Alescu will lead the flyby, 7:36 to go in the middle frame. Wheat Kings tried to have a defensive handoff that unfortunately ended up in the hands of the Broncos. And Alescu was there for the rebound. Bethal, Boyce, Lucas, Ronald, and Allard for the Wheat Kings. Alescu, the most recent goal scorer, out for the Broncos, and it's Moen who wins the draw for Swift Current. Sent to the far side, Lucas on it for the Wheat Kings, shrugs off a check and keeps on going. Asher Lucas over the blue line, leaves it for Boyce, but he's ruled offside. He got filled in after the whistle went, and Ronald and Lucas will give an earful to the goal scorer Alescu, but nothing more will come of that. Here with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 for Wheat Kings hockey. It's a 4-4 tie here in the second period. Mentioned before the game began, you see in preseason games either absolute barn burners or games where nobody has any luck scoring. The Broncos had played 3 games where they've been extremely tight, not a lot of offense either way, and tonight the polar opposite. Preseason. Over the Bronco blue line it comes, but quickly back out again. Allard on the far side spins, got taken down, and the Broncos break back in. Sexsmith up the far side, shoots off the outside of the net. On the rebound, Moen sends it on goal and put it just wide. Alescu tries to fish it back towards the front of the Wheat King net, and McFadden holds his post after some unusual moments in the Wheat King zone. 7:09 to go in the second. Shots are already 21-19 for the Broncos, and the score already tied at 4 apiece. Jackson Jacobson has 2 for the Wheat Kings, both in this second period. The Broncos have 3 in this second period, 1 each by McCann, Wilkie, and Alescu. Jacobson back on the ice with Gavin. Sirkan, Ronald, and Allard face off on the far side of the Wheat King zone,
So
and
we'll have
it
them
looks like
standing
Jacobson will be shown out of it.
Standing at what
O'Shea
line
will be the
exactly?
face-off man for the
The red line
Broncos.
in the
He and
center.
Gavin both
Okay.
left-handed, and then O'Shea able to tie up and win it back for Swift Current.
Yep.
McCann behind the Wheat King net, driven in by Dylan Ronald. Allard comes into the pile, and the Wheat Kings have the puck.
And
Jacobson
are they
ahead,
gonna be on
airs this to
opposite
center,
sides, or
gloved
is
down
it
by
both
Hawker.
nets gonna be-
Broncos get it back, but do so
Okay,
with a
not a
hand
problem.
pass. 6:57 to go in the
And
second
what is
period.
it, if they
We'll get a
it
face-off in the
net,
neutral
they're
zone.
just trying to throw it in the net, or are they
Jacobson trying an airmail pass there, and why not? Just about every bag of tricks, or every trick in the bag you can think of for an offensive player is available to Jacobson,
Okay.
Sirkan, and Gavin. Are again working on
Yeah.
multi-point nights.
Yeah. Well, they
Jacobson for the draw at center against Hansen following the hand pass.
okay, not a problem.
Scramble draw won by the Wheat Kings. Allard works back in his own end and sends the backhander ahead. Sirkan lets it roll past him and in deep. Broncos pick it up to the right of their net. Hansen leaves it in the near side for Hawker. Hawker bounces it neatly up the boards. Gauthier drives it ahead, and he's able to one-hand it to center ice. Ronald pinches up for the Wheat Kings, but it's pinballed past him. Jacobson takes the puck back to the line, not out. McCann walks in, fires, trapper save McFadden, and no rebound from him with 6.5 to go in the second period.
I don't know if I want to do it. Now I'm
Lord,
nervous.
Griezmann, and Ralph for the Wheat
Now's
Kings,
the time to do it when there's this many
along with
people and,
Linsky and
I know,
Pantelis.
I know.
They're up against Brown, Dingman,
good. Don't worry about it.
and Birch up front, with Potter and Pilsner being the defensemen. The faceoff will come to the left of McFadden on the near side of Wheat King territory. We are tied
Do I
at
need to do
4
any sort of introduction? Or
as
can I just,
Ralph
like,
and
get
Brown go into the
You can just get
faceoff
right into
circle,
it.
both
It's
guys
a
left-handed. Brown wins it for the Broncos. Pilsner from the middle to the near side. Potter flings this through traffic, save McFadden. They're looking for the rebound. McFadden seems to find it first, and the whistle blows. Dylan McFadden has it underneath him as a gain. We've got pushing and shoving after the whistle with Griezmann right in the thick of it.
I'll be out there.
Potter had a good idea. Send that through traffic and hope for chaos. There was a moment of chaos there, all right, but Dylan McFadden was able to find it first. And we keep a tie game with 4 goals on the board each way.
Do you want to just go out that way again? And I'll
Ralph for the draw against Brown to McFadden's left.
When are we doing this?
And Ralph wins this one.
6 minutes.
Alinsky in the near corner sends it around the far side for the Wheat Kings. Pantelis is on it. Griezmann steers this to center. Binder-Nord pokes it ahead, got stood up by Pilsner, but the Wheat Kings able to get it back. Ralph drags his way right back out front. Potter swept it away from him. Ralph on the near side leaves it for Binder-Nord on the cycle. From the left circle, Binder-Nord twisting and turning, shakes loose. Good skill by Binder-Nord. His shot blocked. It rolls to Ralph, sends it back door, and the rebound just swept away from both Binder-Nord and Griezmann. Birch to center for the Broncos, working in on Pantelis, who stays right with him and stands him up, and then Griezmann comes in and sits him down. Broncos take the puck on the far side. Swept back out front to the near side for Wilkie, fresh off the bench. Odit tracking him as Wilkie flings this off the head of Dingman and wide. Yerrick's on the far side for Swift Current. Chased up the boards by Griezmann, goes down low, but Carson Ralph is there to pick it off. Up the far boards he goes and down the ice. No icing on the play.
Well,
Gray
you
for the
were wrong,
Broncos on
so,
the far
you know,
side.
might as well.
Worked into the boards by Odit, but he makes the handoff up the near side. Through center comes Wilkie. To the far side, Bryant over the Wheat King blue line, drives the middle, hands it off to a pinching Yerrick's. Yerrick's with all kinds of room, walks in and he's stoned by McFadden, who shows him the trapper with 5:21 to go in the second period. All of a sudden, there was all the room Daxon Yerrick's needed to walk in, but Dylan McFadden had his number that time around. Egan, Johnson, and Odit for the Wheat Kings against Wilkie, Marine, and Bryant for the Broncos. Egan will take the draw. The linesman appears to be signaling that the Wheat Kings will need somebody new in the circle, and that somebody will be Nick Johnson. Face off to the right of McFadden on the far side.
Okay, so
Broncos get the draw back to the top for Yerrick's. To Gray at the right point, he shoots McFadden the save. Rebound sits in front for a shot, blocked again by McFadden.
VIP.
Arpin carries ahead wide to his
Okay.
left. He'll
So,
flip this
during
softly into the
regular
Broncos
season,
zone.
where are we
Odit tried to
usually?
go
Just
after it,
down
but he was
there?
stood up by Gray. Broncos fire it back to center. Bryant skates onto it. From the top of the right
Still,
circle, he
good
drops it
launcher.
back off. The Wheat Kings are there, and back comes Jimmy Egan, 1-on-3. Egan accelerates ahead, drops his hip, and takes it to the net, saved by Rocha. Bryant on the near side, cuts to the middle, to the far side for Gray. Over the red line for Swift Current, he'll dump this in. McFadden's out to play it. 4:46 to go in the second. We're tied at 4 as the Broncos go to the forecheck. Puck up the near side for Hawker. His dump pass comes right to Egan, and the Wheat Kings, just like that, are out to center. It's airmailed into the Broncos zone and gloved down by Brownlee. Hawker to center, tapped between some feet. Dylan Ronald will pick it up for Brandon on the near side. To the far side, Cam Allard. Up ice to Johnson. At the end of his shift, he'll just steer this into the Broncos zone. Rocha's out to play it. Wheat Kings swarm in on the forecheck, lift it back out front to Lucas. Lucas holds from the left circle and spins back. All the way to the top he goes. Lucas shielding it well on his backhand. Away from Moen. He feeds it through to the far side. Allard. Allard can't corral the rolling puck. Broncos get it to center, but Lucas is on it again, and he'll dodge the check as he does. Bethal breaking back in. Stood up just outside the line. Follows up and pokes it to the middle. The Broncos are on it with Brownlee. Brownlee turned it over to Boyce. To Bethal at the right circle. A shot saved by Rocha. And with 3:56 to go in the second period, Rocha decides to settle things down. Shots are 26-22 in favor of the Broncos. Your shots are for Kyle Ryan, Denture Clinic. And we are tied at 4. Jacobson has 2 for the Wheat Kings. Egan and Arpin have the others. Bethal will take the draw in Bronco territory. And it comes on the far side to Rocha's left. Bethal for the Wheat Kings, Brown for the Broncos. Clean win Bethal. Ronald from the left point drags, tries to fire, but he got poke checked. He was just able to get it back in. Back come the Broncos anyway. On the far side, Dingman from the circle hooks it back up front, swept away. Rebound sits there. The Broncos knock it wide. Behind the Wheat King net. It's claimed by Cam Allard to the right of the Wheat King cage. Flipped ahead to Lucas on the far side. Lucas quickly to center for Boyce. Over the Bronco blue line. A nifty drag move by Boyce. He feeds it through to the far side for Bethal. From the right circle, Bethal back to Boyce at the right circle, but he was pinched up on by Dingman. Lucas in to help, but the Broncos have numbers. They'll get it to the neutral zone. On the far side, Wheat Kings bottle it up in front of their bench. Boyce sweeps it ahead. He's got stopped in his tracks by Potter, who collects it. Potter accelerating ahead to the near side for Hansen. Dancing over the Wheat King blue line. He's stood up by Helinski. Pantelis to the near corner for the Wheat Kings in their zone. The handoff bounces back to the Broncos.
You win $2 million. We can do that,
His
right?
pass swept away by Gavin, and look how Jacobson's trying to pull onto it away from Yerricks. Jacobson boxed out by Yerricks, who takes him below the goal line. Gavin picks it up. Gavin hooks it back out front, but it's picked off by Hansen. Through center comes Hansen for the Broncos. Over the Wheat King blue line. Stood up again by Pantelis, who takes him off the puck. Puck pinballs its way below the Wheat King goal line where the Broncos find it. Up the near side comes Goche. He'll take the handoff and work back to the near boards. Helinski's all over him. Thrown down low to Gray. For the Broncos, he's pinned hard to the near wall with 2:37 to go in the second. Broncos trying to lift it out of that pile. Jacobson fishing at it for the Wheat Kings as well. In the corner to the left of McFadden in Wheat King territory. Goche sits down Helinski. Puck comes free. Helinski's back to his feet and back on the puck. Up to Serkan on the near side. Bodied, and it's held by Wilkie. His long-range shot blocked. Pantelis knocks it down. On his backhand, he hooks it around the far side. Gavin will go after it for the Wheat Kings and get there first. Tap to Helinski behind the Wheat King net. 2 Broncos right on him. He hands it off neatly to Gavin on the far side. Quickly to center for Serkan. Breaking in for the Wheat Kings, wide to his right. He'll drop it off to Jacobson from the right circle. Jacobson dances inside. He'll hand it off to Easton Turco. Turco backhands it back down low, but it's swept away before it could get to the front of the net. Bryant to center with speed for the Broncos. He'll break in wide to his left. Bryant hand on the shot. He'll work it back below the goal line. Turco picks his pocket and starts the Wheat King breakout. Jacobson on the far side. Flipped down the ice, knocked away by Hawker, and Bryant comes back over the blue line for Swift Current. Right to the middle for Marine. He shoots it. Pinballs wide of the Wheat King net. Turco steers it around the far side. Some tired Wheat Kings forwards unable to change. Wilkie for the Broncos behind the Brandon net, pinned by Jacobson. Wilkie kicks it loose. Up the far side on his backhand. To the top he goes. Swatted back down low as the Broncos begin a cycle. Alescu, who has their most recent goal, comes up with it on the near side. Driven to the wall by Easton Turco, but still on the puck. Down low to Wilkie in the near corner. Wilkie with a nice move to the top of the right circle, thrown across the ice for Brownlee. From the left point, Brownlee sends this on goal, kicked away by Merrick Arpin. Rebound comes out front. Jacobson collects it for the Wheat Kings. At the end of his shift, he'll get it to center. Jacobson over the red line and in as the Wheat Kings in need of a change will get one as we get to the final minute of this second period. On the near side of the Broncos zone, Hawker lifts it to center and carries ahead. Now for Moen at the right circle. Moen driving wide. Around the Wheat King net out the far side. Stops on a dime. He'll throw it behind the net looking for Sexsmith. He was boxed out by Ralph. Up the near side to Ben Beinernord on the breakout. His shovel pass missed the target but got to center. No icing on the play. Pilsner on the far side. Backhands it across to Potter. Quickly up the near boards and all the way down. In on McFadden from long range. McFadden steers it off to Cam Allard to the right of the Wheat King net. To the near side now for Ben Beinernord. Back on the back check. From the left circle, he'll leg it ahead. Flipped high in the air and out to center. Pilsner kicks it down for the Broncos. Gleesman tracks him down but can't knock him off the puck. To the near side of Wheat King territory for Dylan Ronald. Far side, Cam Allard at the right circle, 15 seconds to go. His quick pass finds Johnson breaking into his right. Johnson takes a shot and rifled over top of the net. Up the near side boards and out to center. Ronald pokes it away from a non-rushing Birch. As the rebound comes to the near side, Dingman carries back in. He was offside, but no call coming. Johnson knocks it away from him nonetheless, and out to center we go. Time ticks down on a wild second period that was arguably even
I'll
more
take the paper,
preseason-esque
actually.
than the first
You have to let
period
me know,
was.
though, before I
And
have
it
to
ends with
talk.
us tied
Because
at
you have a
4
headset.
to give you an idea
I don't
of
wanna
just
be
how
like,
scrambly
I don't know,
things got.
swearing or something. And then
We'll go to our second intermission on Q Country 91.5, and in that second intermission, we'll chat with Gio Pantelis about getting into his first preseason game. We'll also talk with Gunnar Gleesman about getting some confidence from his first preseason goal. Coming up on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5.
I don't need the paper. I don't have a time limit, so it's just kind of quick. Let me tell you a story real quick.
From the right circle out to Jacobson to his backhand, scores! Gavin works it back to Jacobson, scores! People still think that they know him, but fuck him. He knows the code.
Yeah, Ava's gonna do it. Ava is doing it. All right, walk on out there.
Hey, it's Ava from Q Country 91.5, and we are going to play a little game here. So we got two teams of two. So we have John and Hudson, and we have Mitch and Chris. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to have two throwers and two catchers with some nets, and they are going to get two chances to throw a football into the net. We're going to have our throwers on the center line and our catchers right over there. All right. He gets one more throw here. Oh, not quite. All right, and here goes John. He was telling me he has a bum shoulder, but I think he can do it. This is the final chance. It was a pretty hard throw. I mean, they couldn't really move. So, you know what? A tie's a tie. We're going to split it. Great job to our two teams.
Craziness in that second period, all kinds of goals. The Wheat Kings will say a few too many for the Broncos, but they did have some offensive output of their own. Here with Rob Mann in our second intermission on Q Country 91.5. The Broncos scored just 31 seconds into the second period. Jackson Gaucher had a breakaway. He was stopped, but Ashton McCann cashed the rebound. And then Trey Wilkie sniped one off the rush to make it a 3-2 Bronco lead. The Wheat Kings would not only tie the score, a pretty passing play between Serkan and Jacobson that ended with Jacobson backhanding one home, but would get the lead back as Jackson Jacobson on the power play was again on the receiving end of a beautiful series of passes. The Wheat Kings worked the puck around with exceptional touch. All five guys got a touch of the puck on the play. Jacobson got the last, and he made it 4-3. But the Broncos would tie us up again. Jaden Olescu left alone in front after a miscue in front of the Wheat Kings net. Made it 4-4 where we now sit. So it's been an interesting game, to say the least, or if you prefer, a very preseason-esque type game. One of the players the Wheat Kings will rely on both tonight and throughout the year to settle things down is Gio Pantelis. Pantelis had an experience with Team Canada at the Lincoln Gretzky Cup as part of a stacked blue line, and he had a pretty impressive off-season as well. But tonight, I had a chance to ask him not only about that, but about how he's feeling about getting into a preseason game for the first time in 2025.
No, there's no speakers that come this way.
live in town though, hey?
I do.
Like Riley was driving back and forth.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
They're like there's gonna be 10 snowstorms throughout the year too.
Yeah.
So apparently Mike said they set him up and they can't add in if that ever happens.
Gio Pantelis doesn't do boring interviews. He doesn't do cliches. He's always a pleasure to talk to, and he's fun to watch with his improved skating and strength. And he joined us there for a second intermission interview. You're back with Rob Mann on our second intermission on Q Country 91.5. We are square at 4 after 40 minutes. Shots are 26-22 in favor of the Broncos. In his third preseason game with the Brandon Wheat Kings, Gunnar Gleesman has been all over the ice again, trying to hit everybody he can find, and generally making a nuisance of himself. I don't think he's winning any friends on the Swift Current bench, but that's not what he's there to do. We'll talk about his confidence level and about his development over the last season when we come back on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5.
I don't know, actually.
Just leave the. Maybe we should take them. Take them.
How would we have them?
Yeah, just take them. Tell him I said that too. Because he decided I don't want to play for the Wheat Kings anymore and decided to take like $300,000 to go play in the NCAA. You have no idea what he said. He's a loser. Could have been playing for free here. Providence, I think. Yeah, because he's playing with Quinn.
4 on the board each way as the Wheat Kings and Broncos are tied going into the third period, and we're in for a finish here at Assiniboine Credit Union Place. You're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 as the Wheat Kings have their final weekend of the preseason to make some decisions, and nobody seems to be making those decisions any easier. One of the guys making the decisions more difficult has been Gunnar Gleesman. The Wheat Kings want him to play a heavy physical style, and so he has done, but he also picked up a pretty nice goal against the Regina Pats, a bullet of a shot off the rush, which at the time made it 2-0 Wheat Kings and helped steer them to a really impressive offensive first period. Now, the Wheat Kings would go on to win that game 7-5, so the track record in this preseason for Brandon has been one of an awful lot of goals, but they've also been placing an emphasis on being difficult to play against, and Gleesman has embodied that so many times. I had a chance to ask him about his first taste of Western Hockey League experience in Brandon, both on and off the ice. Gunnar Gleesman joining us on our second intermission. He scored a beauty of a goal against the Regina Pats, and he's been hitting everybody he can find once again tonight, something the Wheat Kings have said they want a little more of from their players this season. They want to see more sandpaper, and Gleesman has been more than willing to provide that. You're back with Rob Mann in our second intermission on Q Country 91.5. Worth pointing out, by the way, when we talk about Gunnar Gleesman playing 18U, there's an important distinction between that and U18, and it's very simple. The oldest player in 18U last year was born in 2006. The older players on the team were a year older than Gunnar Gleesman. So Gleesman being about a point per game guy at that level was not the same as a 2007 born player being a point per game at the U18 level, where he would have been the oldest player. That is a distinction worth keeping in mind. It's almost equivalent to what Gleesman would have done if he were, say, a 2008 born player playing U18 in the Manitoba or Saskatchewan ranks. We are tied at 4 after 40 minutes. We'll come back to what's sure to be a nail-biting third on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5. Shoots, save McFadden, rebound, score! McFadden made the initial stop, but McCann following up, potted one, and just 31 seconds into the second period. Williamson from the right circle works it to the forehand, scored. Oh, he hit the crossbar. Where the blue line goes, Wilkie wide to his left, from the left circle, he shoots, scores! That one went off the post and in, as with 18:41 to go in the second. Just like that, the Broncos have taken the lead to the top for Yerix. Back to Sexsmith at the right side. He shoots through traffic. McFadden makes the trapper save through cautiously up the boards. From the right circle, Wilkie fires, save McFadden. And to escape, Surkan on the far side holds the line. He's got Jacobson with him. From the right circle, out to Jacobson, to his backhand, scores! Jacobson set up Surkan a time or two in the last game, and now the rookie repays the favor, and Jacobson cashes in from close range. We are tied at 3 with 12:42 to go in the second. To his left over the Bronco blue line, left it for Surkan to the far side. Johnson back to Gavin in the clear. Gavin works it back to Jacobson, scores! Well, you don't draw him up any prettier than that. Jackson Jacobson cashes in after a gorgeous cross-seam series of passes. The Wheat Kings have the lead back. Now tries to dodge Alescu, left it there for Easton Turco. Broncos get it off the turnover, work it back to the front of the net for a shot, score! In front of the Wheat King net. A bit of a hiccup, and Alescu was there to cash in to tie us up at 4. Back in, Sexsmith up the far side, shoots up the inside of the net. On the rebound, Moen sends it on goal and put it just wide. Alescu tries to fish it back towards the front of the Wheat King net. Preseason games don't count for anything in the standings, but I wouldn't expect these two teams to play like that as they're entering the third period, tied at 4 here at Assiniboine Credit Union Place. You're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 and the Wheat Kings YouTube stream. The Wheat Kings will be down to my left in this third period. Dylan McFadden will have the crease wearing number 35, and also wearing 35 for the Broncos will be Joey Rocha off to my right. Wheat Kings have opened up all the periods so far with Jimmy Egan along with Easton Odett and Nick Johnson. We'll see if they do so again. Egan had his first of the preseason back in that first period. Bit of a strange one. He was trying to send Easton Odett in alone. If you're just joining us, you may have missed the fact that the first 3 goals in this game in the first period all went off of Broncos, and none of them went in off the stick of the player who was intending to put it in. Nick Johnson, Jimmy Egan, and Easton Odett open up period number 3 as they have periods 1 and 2. They've got Pantelis and Holinsky alongside, up against McCann, who has a goal in this one. Hansen, Gauthier, who set up McCann's goal, Gray, and Yerix. Egan and Hansen for the opening draw of period number 3. Wheat Kings to my left, Broncos to my right. We are tied at 4. Puck is down, Wheat Kings have it, and we are underway. Tipped into the Broncos zone on the near side. Back for it goes Gray of Swift Current. Up the near boards, Johnson seals it off. Johnson hooks it on goal. Right pad save, Rocha. Olinsky from the left point, holding it onside. Down low and around the net to Johnson in the near corner. Swept off his tape up the near side. Broncos have numbers to leg it ahead. They'll get it to center ice. Over the Wheat King blue line comes Gauthier up the left side. Gauthier hooks this back up front. McFadden the calm paddle save, and Pantelis will leg it the other way. Pantelis through center, wide to his left. Gets a lane over the Bronco blue line and goes in after it on the far side. Stopped up and taken to the wall by Goche, and that allows Hansen to take the puck for Swift Current. Dropped off to the right of his net to Gray. Up the far boards to Goche, pinching on him is Serkan. The Wheat Kings keep the puck on side. Thrown wide of the Bronco net. Johnson is on it. He'll one-hand it down low. Left it there for Serkan on the near side. Serkan sends it back for Jacobson. Tipped off the glove of Rocha. Jacobson sweeps it back out front. Ronald holds the left point. From the far side, Ronald shoots it, rides a stick into Johnson for a try, blocked. Serkan's on the rebound, to Jacobson on the near side. From the right circle, fed back to Ronald with room. Ronald in, fires, fearless block, and the Broncos pick it up as Gray's block allows them to get it out to center. Gavin at center for the Wheat Kings dumps it back in. Jacobson hustles after it on the far side. He'll beat Hawker to the puck. Behind the Bronco net, left it there for Serkan, who claims it. Serkan feeds it up front to Gavin for a shot rifled over top of the net. Allard pinches up to hold the zone. From the right circle, left for Jacobson. Jacobson dancing to the middle, lost it to Maureen. He'll curl back and get it up to center ice. The pass does not connect with Wilkie. This will go wide of the Wheat King net, and icing will be the call against the Broncos with 18:23 to go in the third. If you're just joining us, Jackson Jacobson is sitting on a hat trick. He's got 2 in the game, and he went looking for the third there. The redirection of Serkan's pass went off the cheater of Rocha's glove and wide. For an offensive zone draw, the Wheat Kings send Lucas, Bethal, Boyce, Arpin, and Easton Turco. Bethal will take the draw on the far side, and Wilkie will be his opponent. Bethal wins it. From the left point, Easton Turco goes down low. Brownlee for the Broncos, can't corral it. Boyce for the Wheat Kings on the near side does. Flip down low, Brownlee knocked it out of midair. Up the near side for Maureen. He'll curl back and throw this across the ice. Broncos break out, and carrying it ahead to center is Bryant. Over the Wheat King blue line to his left, into the near corner. Bryant around the net, works it back out front, kicked wide by Maureen. Bryant's on his own rebound. Sent off the pad of McFadden right to Bethal. He'll get it up the far boards. Wheat Kings breakout led by Boyce, shoveled into the Broncos zone. Lucas will skate onto it. Lucas pivots back against Hawker and shakes loose from him. Back to the far side, it hops on Ralph, but Pantelis will hold the point. Lucas from the left wall, dances down the far boards. Lucas shoots, shouldered away by Rocha. That one finds the mesh with 17:40 to go in the third. Binder Nord and Gleesman hop the wall to join their line mate Ralph on the ice. Here with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5. This Brandon Wheat Kings broadcast is copyrighted for the sole use of Pattison Media and our listeners. Ralph for the draw on the far side of the ice in Bronco territory. He's shown out of the circle. Binder Nord will take his place against Carter Mullen. Both guys left-handed for this draw. And a clean win by Binder Nord. Pantelis from the right point. Waits for a lane and shoots through traffic, tipped wide by Gleesman. On the near side. Broncos Pilsner gets it up the boards, not out. Pantelis' shot pinballs wide. Potter for the Broncos. Chased out from behind the net, up the near boards to the line and swept out to center, where the Wheat Kings get it right back. Ralph will steer it back in. Behind the Bronco net, Rocha paddles it off for Potter. Up the near boards, Potter's pass to the line, held by Pantelis. Binder Nord in to claim it at the right circle. Back down low to Gleesman behind the net. He tried to shovel it out front. It was blocked by Pilsner. To the far boards, Pilsner wraps it around the near side. Binder Nord skates to it for the Wheat Kings and drives it back down low against the checking of Potter. Ralph in to help. He'll come up with a loose puck behind the Bronco net. Out the far side, Ralph pivots back, hooks it on goal, swept away by Rocha, and Moen will take the puck for Swift Current. Moen goes up the far boards and out to center. Holinsky right there to knock it down for the Wheat Kings. Into the Broncos zone it goes, and they'll get it up the near side to Potter. Potter gets it to center no further. Ralph will fire this into the Broncos zone and head for a change. Pilsner on the far side for Swift Current with 16:37 to go in the third. Broncos look to break out. Long lead stretch pass tipped in wide of McFadden, who steers it off to Dylan Ronald. Ronald leaves it behind for Allard on the near side of Wheat King territory. Allard has some room, he'll take it. Patiently ahead to Johnson, one-handed to the middle, but the Broncos sweep that away. Allard will try again. Back to the far side for Dylan Ronald. Ronald up the boards to Odit, tipped to the middle for Egan, and he overskated it. Back come the Broncos. Dingman works his way in right up the middle. From the left circle, he tries to dance in, got poke checked by Ronald, and Egan will take the puck. He'll wind it up. Jimmy Egan up the near side, hands it off for Nick Johnson, who forces this into the Broncos zone. Tries to fight his way past his man and drew an interference penalty as he did. Gray tags up and the Wheat Kings are going back to the power play 4 minutes into the third period. The referee has rather an easy one there. It was right in front of him and he emphatically signals interference as Yerrick's heads off for getting in Nick Johnson's way. Johnson will stay out with Jacobson, Serkan, Pantelis, and Gavin. This is the unit that gave the Wheat Kings a gorgeous power play tally in the second period to take the lead. We'll see if they can do it again in the third. Face off to the right of Rocha. Jacobson to take it. Swept back by the Wheat Kings. Pantelis holds the left point. To the near side, Gavin from the circle. He shoots, kick save, Rocha. Rebound for Brownlee of the Broncos. Up the boards, knocked down by Gavin. On the near side, Gavin shielding it, throws it low to Johnson. Back to Gavin from the right circle. To the top, Pantelis. To the far side, Jacobson at the left circle. Into Gavin at the right side. Gavin pump fakes, cuts to the inside. Gavin fires and he put it just wide. That one rides the boards and goes out of play with 15:37 to go in the third. Good patience by Gavin to outweight the block of the passing lane, but his shot not able to tell that time around. Still, this Wheat King power play playing with confidence, and based on their second period goal, hard to argue but that they deserve it. Jacobson, Johnson, Gavin, Serkan, and Pantelis for the Wheat Kings. Wilkie for the Broncos, one penalty killer. Bryant another, and Wilkie will take the draw on the near side to the left of Rocha. Rolling puck swept back to the point. Pantelis has to retreat to center, and he'll outweight Bryant and carry ahead. Bryant stays right with him, though. Pantelis at the penalty box door, shields the puck and pokes it back into the Wheat King zone. Nick Johnson is on it first behind the Wheat King net. Johnson hands it off. Pantelis gets set on this man advantage. He'll carry ahead with Wilkie closing on him. Pantelis legs it up the far side and bounces it back. Jacobson through center. Accelerating over the blue line, driving the middle. Jacobson's onside all the way to the right point to keep the play going. Flip back to the top and now on to Pantelis from the left point. Pantelis to Gavin at the right circle with room. He'll throw it across. Jacobson on the far side, can't corral it off the end boards. Pantelis though holds the left point to Serkan. Thrown across to Gavin who skates onto it at the right circle. Gavin shakes loose and finds Pantelis from the middle to Jacobson at the left side. Jacobson holds over to Gavin for a one-timer, hit his own man. Serkan will pick up the rebound. Still 43 seconds in the power play. Jacobson on the far side from the left circle. Two Broncos right on him, but he makes the handoff anyway. Serkan on the far side. And his pass bounced back to him. Jacobson now from the top of the left circle. Leaves it for Pantelis. From the middle, he shoots through traffic, and Rocha takes that in the horseshoe crest on the Bronco jersey and leaves no rebound. Shots are 26-25 for the Broncos. Your shots for Kyle Ryan Denture Clinic. It is a 4-4 tie here in the third period. Jacobson has two. The Wheat Kings power play not able to break through that time. Their second unit comes out, which is Bethal, Odet, Boyce, Allard, and Egan. Face off to the right of Rocha. Bethal will take it. And Bethal wins it cleanly. Allard from the left point. Hands it off to Egan on the far wall. Egan down low, spots Boyce. Boyce waits, throws it back out front to Bethal for a shot saved by Rocha as he sprawled out big. Rebound for Egan, scores, but the whistle blew. And it blew way early. Maureen comes back at Egan. The Wheat Kings are going to go at Maureen. The linesman comes in to break things up. 19 seconds to go in the power play. We'll see if that gets erased or extended here from all this pushing and shoving. Egan and Maureen are into it. So are Boyce and Gray. An early whistle bailed the Broncos out there and may have taken away a goal from Jimmy Egan. As Boyce and Gray are still into it in front of the Bronco bench, the referee telling everybody to cool the jets. Egan put that into the net after the whistle had blown, and, well, you can kind of see why. There was a scramble in front of the Bronco net, and Egan might have been counting on the fact that an early whistle might not have stood. As the puck came loose, Egan put it in. We'll see what the result of this skirmish is. Maureen gave Egan a pretty good shot to the back of the numbers after he potted that into the open net. 14:20 to go in the third and 19 seconds to go in the Wheat King power play, and the Wheat Kings will summon their players back to their bench. Oded is going to the penalty box here. Now, if he's going, he probably ought to have company given Maureen's cross-check in the numbers, but for some reason, he does not. So we're going to play some 4-on-4 here from the looks of it. 14:20 to go in the third period, and the Wheat Kings power play looks to be coming to an end. And there are indeed 2 minutes on the board for Easton Oded. Unsportsmanlike conduct, the call. Dylan Ronald and Cam Allard, the defenseman for the Wheat Kings, they're going to need to get some forwards on the ice here for 4-on-4. 4-on-4, barring anything further, will last 19 seconds. Maureen, again, getting away with a pretty good shot to the numbers on Jimmy Egan there. The forwards for the Wheat Kings, Jackson Jacobson and Jordan Gavin. A good duo for 4-on-4, and for that matter, a pretty good duo for an ensuing penalty kill. Carter Moen will take the draw for the faceoff against Jacobson. Jacobson wins it. Up the near side, Jacobson from the right circle, patiently throws it to the far side for Allard with skating room. He'll break into his left and throw on the brakes, hooks it across. Jacobson from the right side with time. Jacobson darts in and shoots, kick save Rocha. Up the near side with 4 seconds and 4-on-4. Gavin's surrounded by blue jerseys and the Broncos take it. Moen over the Wheat King blue line as it's a Bronco power play for 1:38. Broncos send it up the near side. Potter holds the left point. Potter to the far side. Brownlee at the right circle. Back to Potter in the middle, but the pass does not connect. Out to center it comes. Potter resets. Backing into Bronco territory to the near side for Brown. Over the Wheat King blue line. Allard stands him up and pokes it back to center. Potter will reset again. On his backhand, away from Gavin. Throws it across the ice to Brownlee on the far side. From his own right circle, Brownlee goes back down low. 1:10 to go in the extra minor to Easton Otis. Brownlee out from behind the Bronco net, quickly up to Birch. Off his stick and over the Wheat King blue line. Allard comes in to stand him up. Birch able to shake loose, but Allard recovers and gets this down and in on Rocha from long distance. Rocha hands it off for Hawker. Hawker from behind the Bronco net, out the far side to Birch. Over the red line. Birch attacks the Wheat King zone. He'll hand it off to Dingman on the far side. Back to Hawker. Hawker makes a spinorama move to hold the line. Ralph stays with him. Dingman in the far corner for the Broncos. Back to the top for Hawker. Wide to his left. Now to Dingman at the right circle. On his back end, Dingman throws it down low. Sent back up front, but it missed Birch. And down the ice it goes with 30 seconds to go in Otis Minor. The Wheat Kings will get fresh legs. Johnson and Egan come on as penalty-killing forwards. 12:43 to go in the third. We're tied at 4. Wilkie for the Broncos. Makes a move to the inside. Now drives towards the Wheat King zone. He's poke checked, but the pass bounces free. Egan will lift this up the boards and just out to center ice. At center, Johnson's able to take it and dump it into the Broncos zone. Just 8 seconds to go in Otis Minor as Pilsner for the Broncos calms things down behind his net. Watched closely by Jimmy Egan. Gray for the Broncos through center. Wide to his left. Dumps this in on McFadden. McFadden will steer it off to Johnson, and we're back to 5-on-5 with 12:13 to go in this third period. Long lead feed. Otis skating onto it on the near side. One hands it to himself out front, but it's cleaned up by Gray. From the left side of the Bronco net, tap pass ahead. Finds Nick Johnson of the Wheat Kings, who's forced to dump it as he blew a tire. Gray will try again from the far side for the Broncos. Hook to the near side for Pilsner. Pilsner chased behind his net. Takes a hack from Egan as he comes out the far side. Lifts it to the blue line. Serkan makes the keep, but the pass escapes his target and goes out to center. Merrick Arpin wide to his right, gets over the red line. He'll dump this in off a skate. Broncos reclaim it. Flip back to the far side. Through center comes Bryce Bryant over the Wheat King blue line, wide to his right. On the far side, he's forced to dump it down low. Arpin's there first for Brandon. Arpin accelerating up the near side, lifts it ahead to Gavin, quickly across to Serkan at center. Breaking in one-on-one. Serkan drops it off to Arpin on the far side. From the left circle, he throws this back on goal. Gavin hooked it just wide. Rebound pops back out front. Bryant leads the Broncos the other way with Serkan tracking him down. Bryant over the Wheat King blue line, drives the middle. Left it there for Yerix. He'll throw it across, swept away by Easton Turco. Jacobson tried to send Gavin into the clear, but it did not connect. Merrick Arpin on the near side, lifts it up ice. It escapes 2 Broncos, no icing on the play as this hops in wide of the Bronco net. 10:58 to go in the third. Gavin fights for it for the Wheat Kings and claims it. Fed to the middle with room for Serkan to walk into a shot, blockered away by Rocha. Birch for the Broncos in the far corner, gets some help, and Swift Current's able to lift it up ice. Allard from the right side of center dumps it back in. That'll allow the Wheat Kings to complete their change with 10:40 to go in the third. We're tied at 4. Potter tracked down behind the Bronco net. Carson Ralph lost control of it as Dingman came back defensively. Dingman takes a jolt from Gleesman, but he makes the handoff, and back comes Birch. Lost it to Cam Allard. Wheat Kings counter. Bindernord with speed through center. Over the Bronco blue line, he drives the middle. Bindernord wide to his right. Into the near corner, sends it out front, but it's off a skate and wide. Ralph claims it at the right circle. Ralph shoots, scores! Carson Ralph walks off the wall and slips one through Rocha. The Wheat Kings have the lead back. And the youngster who was ripping home goals all training camp long rips home another. 10:16 to go in the third, and just when I was thinking to myself, a game with all these goals is suddenly a little shy of offense. Can you do a press box jinx in your own head? I seem to have done as Carson Ralph snaps one home through the 5-hole of Joey Rocha. 10:16 to go in the third. And the Wheat Kings, who have taken the lead in the shots on goal count for the first time since early in the second, have taken the lead as well. Off the draw, the Broncos pick it back up on the near side. Brownlee sends it to the line, out to center ice, collected by Gauthier. He'll leave it behind for Hansen. Over the Wheat King blue line to his right. Hansen ridden off the puck neatly by Helinski, who comes out the near side for Brandon. Helinski leaves it back behind the Wheat Kings net for Pantelis as we pass the midway mark of period number 3. Bethal through center with Lucas joining over the Bronco blue line. Bethal on the near side, shrugs off a hook and keeps on going. Flip back up the wall to Lucas in the slot, but he was surrounded by Broncos. Hawker leads the Broncos to center, wide to his right over the Wheat King blue line, and he got crunched by Pantelis as he let it go. Helinski behind the Wheat King net, kicks it away from Gauthier, who recovers. Gauthier on the far side, shouldered off it by Pantelis. His pass picked off by Moen. but it's collected by the Wheat Kings, who come to center 3 wide. Asher Lucas over the red line, makes a nifty move to gain the zone, but is forced to dump it shortly after. 9:20 to go in the third. Wheat Kings up 5-4. Broncos have it behind their net and are led out by Pilsner. Up the near side, Sexsmith will tip this into the Wheat King zone to the far side. After it on the far side is Alescu. He'll leave it there for Moen on the cycle. Shouldered off it by Easton Turco, and the Wheat Kings take the puck. Nick Johnson over the red line, dumps it in, shrugs off the check of Pilsner as he does. Rocha's out to play it up the near side. Johnson sealed his lane. From the bottom of the right circle, Johnson keeps control. Johnson sends the shot on goal, steered away by Rocha. Easton Turco will hold the line from the left point. Owed it behind the net. Fed it on looking for Arpin. The pass knocked away by Pilsner, and Pilsner will send this to center for Sexsmith. From the left circle, Sexsmith with room to walk in. Fires, trapper save, McFadden, and no rebound with 8:38 to go in the third. The first shot of the period by the Broncos, and McFadden has the answer on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5.
Giving her a full minute this time.
Yeah.
A sneaky shot by Carson Ralph has the Wheat Kings up 5-4 with 8:38 to go in the third, and a faceoff coming in Wheat King territory here with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 as Jacobson is shown out of the faceoff circle. Gavin will take his place. Broncos win the draw. Yerrick's on the near side. Shoots. Wilkie on the follow-up try. Had it blocked away by McFadden. Up the near side, Yerrick's goes down low for Swift Current. Allard tries to hack it away, and Gavin lifts it up ice for the Wheat Kings. To center it comes. Potter for the Broncos sends it right back the way it came. McFadden for Brandon out to play it. Sending it up the far side, picked off. It's worked back out front, scores! Wilkie picked the pass off and fed it back out front, and there was the Verdon boy Bryant to cash in. We are tied at 5. Bryce Bryant was in the right place at the right time, and for that matter, so was Trey Wilkie, who's up to a goal and 2 assists in this one. 8:17 to go in the third. McFadden tried to play it up the far boards to start the breakout, but Wilkie read it, sent it back out front, and Bryant was there to restore the tie game. So after Carson Ralph gave the Wheat Kings the lead back here in the third, they will have to seize it one more time, and wouldn't you know it, Ralph is on the ice with Gleesman and Byner Nord. Gleesman and Dingman are mixing it up on the near side, jousting away with one another to the amusement of the linesman, who's keeping a close eye on things. Tied up off the draw, a rugby scrum develops, and out of that pile comes Ralph with the puck. On the far side, it pinballs free. Brown will dump it in for the Broncos, but his mates have got to tag up with 8:06 to go in the third. Pantelis up the near side for the Wheat Kings. Pass to the middle, tap to Ralph. He'll flip it ahead for Byner Nord to skate onto. Byner Nord tried to one-hand it ahead. Hockner was in his way, but Byner Nord takes him down. Ralph in for the loose puck on the near side. Byner Nord as well. Wheat Kings have it scrummed up on the near wall of Bronco territory. Broncos lift it loose. Brownlee, but he's bottled up by Gleesman and Ralph. And Ralph comes in and crushes Brownlee behind the Bronco net. Gleesman unable to kick the puck loose as the Broncos try to shake free. Up the near side to Dingman. He'll take a jolt from Ralph as well. Birch over the blue line on the Wheat Kings zone, wide to his right, sends it harmlessly in on McFadden, who steers it off. Pantelis after the rebound throws it across the ice to the far side. Holinsky, 7.5 to go in the third. We're tied at 5 as Boyce breaks up ice for Brandon. On the far side, Gleesman lost it to Gauthier on the back check. Back come the Broncos. One-handing it ahead is Hansen on now a 3-on-2. Left it there for Gauthier. Gauthier fires off a shin pad and wide. Boyce is on the rebound. He'll chop it past Pilsner and out to center. Waiting for it there is Gray. 7:06 to go in the third. Winding back into his own zone. Pilsner for the Broncos up the near side. Took the hit to make the play, but Arpin held the line. Thrown back down low in the near side of the Broncos zone. Pilsner there first. Took the check again. It's sent up the near side again. This time Arpin backs off, and McCann's out to center for Swift Current. Gauthier on the far side. One hands this in deep. Easton Turco's on it first. To Arpin on the near side for the Wheat Kings. Arpin back to Turco on the far boards. Up to Boyce. Sexsmith coming right at him. Boyce will shield the puck against two Broncos and wait for help. Help comes in the form of Turco. Sent behind the Wheat King net. Arpin is on it. He'll take a jolt hard into the boards from Alescu. Arpin down in a heap, and he's gonna be down for some time from the looks of it. That does not look good for Merrick Arpin. The whistle blows as Alescu filled him in a dangerous area with 6:23 to go in the third. Wheat Kings are about to go to the power play as Merrick Arpin heading off after taking a check that the referee immediately spotted as illegal. 6:23 to go in the third period. Arpin goes back for the puck, and Alescu just shoves him face first into the glass. And you certainly hope that wasn't as bad as it looked for Merrick Arpin, who was down and in pain for some time after that check. Arpin was able to skate off the ice on his own, but he's visibly frustrated, and if you're familiar with Arpin's history with the Brandon Wheat Kings, you can imagine why that would be. He had no injury luck whatsoever last year. It's disheartening to think that he might have had bad injury luck again tonight, as he was rammed face first into the dasher on a dirty check by Alescu. There's now a conversation taking place between one referee and the Bronco bench and another referee and Nick Johnson about what this penalty will actually be. We are tied at 5 with 6:23 to go in the third. Boarding is the call.
They seriously don't have anyone there that
Judging
could do
by the way
that,
Nick Johnson is shaking his head, I would say the Wheat Kings probably aren't getting the double minor or major they were hoping for out of this. They do, however, get a power play. It's Jacobson, Serkan, Johnson, Gavin, and Pantelis. Jacobson will take the draw on the far side to the right of Rocha. Wheat Kings' last power play was active and had chances, but did not break through. They win the draw to start this one. Pantelis from the inside. Jacobson from the left circle. Throws it down low. He'll get the return feed. Jacobson goes across to Gavin, in and out of his feet. Gavin to the top for Pantelis. From the right point, Pantelis to Gavin on the near side. Down low to Nick Johnson. Back to Gavin on the wall. Gavin across to Jacobson. The sauce pass bounces back to him. Thrown down low. Tipped away from Johnson, but he holds the puck nicely against the checking of Potter. In to help is Serkan. Wilkie takes it for the Broncos up the boards and down the ice. 1:30 to go in the boarding minor. Up ice comes Jacobson over the Bronco blue line. Drops it off to Serkan. Fed to the middle. It finds Johnson at the right circle. Johnson shoots, save Rocha. Gavin was tied up and couldn't find the rebound. He'll pick it up in the near corner. Back to the right point for Pantelis. Hard across to Serkan on the far side. Serkan goes down low on this Wheat King power play. Back up the board. Serkan on it again. Spun to the middle dangerously. It bounces to center. Pantelis is on it right away. Pantelis peels back to Serkan at center on the power play. 1 minute to go in it. Jacobson carries in wide to his left and throws on the brakes. He'll dodge Dingman. Jacobson feeds the middle and gets it right back. Down low to Serkan on the far side. He'll trade places with Nick Johnson. Jacobson chops it on goal. Pad save Rocha. Rebound to the near side. Nick Johnson wins the battle up the boards for Gavin as the Wheat Kings make part of a change. Johnson in the near corner. Working up the boards, flips it on to Gavin from the right circle. He'll move to the inside. Egan now at the left circle. Throws it back out front. Rocha the point blank save on Serkan. Ronald holds the line. To Gavin at the right circle. Gavin waits, drives the middle, and throws it on goal. Swept away by Hawker. Hawker up the near side, and this time the Broncos get their clear. 25 seconds to go in the power play. 4:46 to go in the third. We're tied at 5. Dylan Ronald on the breakout, dodges Goche. Wide to his right to the near side for Bethal. Over the Bronco blue line. He hands it off on the far wall. Bethal forced to track it down as the Broncos swarm in on him and knock it down the ice. This will go wide of McFadden, who's out to play it. McFadden around the far side. Ronald had it chopped away and out to center. First man to it is in Bronco colors, and that'll do it for the Wheat King power play with 4:22 to go in the third. Polinsky on the far side, twisting and turning. Trying to shake loose from two Broncos. Goche takes it away from him. Fell down. That allows Egan to get the puck for the Wheat Kings. Egan up the far side as the Wheat Kings look to break out. Polinsky peels back behind the Brandon net, pursued by Alescu, who will be a marked man after that hit on Merrick Arpin. On the far side, Boyce will air this into the zone to the right of Rocha with 4 minutes to go in the third. We are square at 5. Maureen to center. Wide to his left over the red line, getting hacked at by Gleesman. He dumps it to the right of McFadden. Allard sends it up the near side. Polinsky will be first to it for the Wheat Kings. Driven to his backhand, but he is able to get it down low. Allard's pass pinballs free to Carson Ralph, who has a goal in this third period for the Wheat Kings. And he'll fire it across to Boyce. It bounces off the boards and out to center. Wilkie on it, dumps it back in. This will go in on McFadden from distance. Ralph picks it up. Hand on his pass, picked off by the Broncos. Work back out front to Bryant, and he was poke checked. Didn't get an effective shot away. Wilkie sends it back to the top for Maureen. He'll hand it off at the right point. Gray with the long range shot, and McFadden sees it all the way. 3:20 to go in the third.
Hey fans, make sure you stick around after the game for your Richardson Pioneer 3 stars.
Different goal scorers. And only Merrick Arpin among defensemen has a goal in this 10-goal game, but he is likely done for the night after getting rammed face first into the wall by Alescu. 3:20 to go in the third. Wheat Kings have
I don't know who's picking them.
Allard on the ice, and now Gleasman's going to head off in favor of the Jacobson, Gavin, and Serkan unit. Tingman, Brown, and Birch answer up front for the Broncos. Face off on the far side. Jacobson to take it. Scramble draw claimed by the Wheat Kings. Up the far glass and out to center over the head of Hawker and down the ice, and this one will not have enough legs on it for icing. Hawker behind the Bronco net, hooks it up the far boards to Birch. He'll take it on his forehand, work up the boards, got filled in by Serkan, but made the play to center. Cam Allard for the Wheat Kings, plays it to the middle. Serkan left it neatly for Jacobson, who dumps it into Bronco territory with under 3 to go in the third. Gavin to the forecheck, takes his man off the puck, but the Broncos have numbers. They'll get it up the glass and down the ice. And this one is skipping its way into the Wheat King zone. This one will have just enough to go for icing with 2:47 to go in the third. Broncos will not be able to change. Wheat Kings will take advantage, sending Johnson, Odit, Egan, Pantelis, and Easton Turco to the ice. Nick Johnson and Jimmy Egan have both taken faceoffs in this game. Egan will be the faceoff man this time around, opposing Wilkie of the Broncos, who stuck out there after the icing. Now, I sure thought Birch was on there when they iced the puck, but he's going to be able to get back to the Bronco bench. Broncos are going to take the warning on that draw. Wilkie and Egan will meet again. One back by Wilkie, who set up the most recent goal of the game. Pantelis pinches and holds the line. Egan from the right circle sends it back door, knocked out of the air by Johnson. Back out front for Roder, he tapped it wide. Back on the far side, Johnson for the Wheat Kings. Throws this back out front, saved by Rocha. He sprawls out. It's swept away from Egan before he can cash in. Egan wins it up the near side, but the Broncos are there. Wilkie ahead. To the far side and out to center. Swift Current breaks it out. Brownlee will dump it in, then got filled in by Easton Odit. Marine of the Broncos, twisting and turning. Stapled by Egan, but makes the play down low. Wilkie behind the net, waiting, holding off the goal line. He spins and fires. Shoulder save McFadden. No rebound with 2:13 to go in the third. The Wheat Kings will come back with Allard, Ronald, Bethal, Boyce, and Lucas. And the Broncos answer with Gaucher, McCann, and Otto Hansen. Former Okotoks Oilers teammates Hansen and Boyce meet for another shift. Bethal will take the draw for the Wheat Kings. Hansen will be his opponent. It'll be to the left of McFadden on the far side of the Wheat Kings zone. Broncos win it. Potter to the middle, fires through traffic, blocked by Boyce. Ronald tries to sweep it out. Gaucher's in his lane. Asher Lucas for the Wheat Kings drags it to center. Hansen dumps it back in. Ronald is on it right away to the right of that Brandon net. Out the far side he comes. Ronald's chop pass comes to Boyce, who taps it over the Bronco blue line. Lucas after it, wins the battle on the far side, but fell. Picked up by Pilsner, who goes up the glass and out to center. Ronald gloves it and dodges a check. Got hauled down, no call coming. And Boyce recovers, and as he does, it's ruled to have been done with a hand pass. 1:45 to go in the third period. We are tied at 5, and boy, have we gone back and forth. It was a 2-0 Wheat King lead that became a 3-2 Bronco lead that became a 4-3 Wheat King lead. The Broncos then tied us up at 4. The Wheat Kings' Carson Ralph got it to a 5-4 game here in the third, but Bryce Bryant tied us up at 5. Wheat Kings win the neutral zone draw. Ronald on the far side to the near side for Allard. From the right circle, Allard ahead, missed his target. The Broncos knock it down. Boyce is after it on the far side, but he's poke checked before he can shoot. Bethal in the far corner, kicked up against the wall by Yerix. The Broncos will take the puck. Legging it ahead is Alescu. He'll take the jolt from Lucas as he dumps it in. Puck goes high in the air, and the Broncos knock it down thanks to Moen. Moen pivots back on the near side to shed Bethal. Lucas stays right with him. It's chopped into the Wheat King zone. Ronald is back for it. Alescu had him wrapped up, but Ronald was able to shake off. Up the near side, Yerix holds the left point. He'll drift this down the boards to Moen, cycling it off the near side for the Broncos. On to Alescu at the left circle. He's pinned to the wall by Allard. Wheat Kings get the puck back for a moment before losing it to Sexsmith. Sexsmith down low to Alescu off the goal line, hit the post. On the far side in the final minute of the third period, Dylan Ronald leaves it on the near side for Cam Allard on the breakout. From his own right circle, he finds Bethal, and Bethal gets to center. He'll get over the red line and snap this in, but they're going to rule that he was on the wrong side of it with 45.4 to go in the third. will get a face-off back in Wheat King territory, and Boyce, Lucas, and Bethal will not be able to change. The Broncos send Birch, Brown, Dingman, Yerricks, and Gray against Pantelis, Zielinski, Lucas, Serkan, and Bethal. So the Wheat Kings were able to get in part of a change before that icing, but not anywhere near the full deal. 45.4 on the clock in the third period and a 5-5 tie, and the Wheat Kings have called timeout. If you're just joining us, you're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 for Wheat Kings hockey. Merrick Arpin started the scoring in this one. His attempted feed to Jordan Gavin went off a Bronco stick and in. Second goal of the game, a similar situation. Jimmy Egan tried to find Easton Oded alone in front, and that ended up going off a Bronco stick and in. The Broncos' first goal of the game went off the skate of William Maureen, who was driving the net and kicked it past Dylan McFadden. And then early in the second period, the Broncos tied the game on Ashton McCann's goal and took the lead on Trey Wilkies. The Wheat Kings took the lead back. Jacobson tied it up with a beauty backhander and then finished off a pretty passing play on the man advantage to make it 4-3. The Broncos would tie the score. Jaden Alescu knocking home a rebound in front of the Wheat King net. Carson Ralph would give the Wheat Kings the lead back, 5-4, and then 5-5 the score on the result of a goal by Bryce Bryant. Face-off on the far side of Wheat King territory, 45.4 on the clock. And as you just heard, we are tied at 5. Jacobson and Wilkie for the draw. Jacobson tangles it up. It pops free to Wilkie at the right circle. He spins and fires, fought off by McFadden. Yerricks on the near side, drifts it back up the boards to Maureen. Thrown across the ice for a one-timer back out front. Gavin finds it first and airs this down the ice. And good touch by Gavin not to ice it as Gray is back for the Broncos. From the middle of his own zone, Gray up the near side, hands it off to Birch, who dumps it in. This will go wide of McFadden. Zielinski goes back for it behind the net. Up the far side, Wilkie knocks it down, back to the right point. Gray sends it back the other direction. Bryant is on it. Pantelis closing on him on the near side. Pantelis shoulders him off the puck and lifts it ahead himself. Gavin now up the glass and out to center. 7 seconds to go in the third period, and as the puck rolls into the Broncos zone, icing is waved off. Yerricks goes back behind the Bronco net, and we are headed for overtime in the first preseason meeting between the Wheat Kings and Broncos. Oh, you just bet there'll be some tired players after this one, and they've got to go at it again tomorrow in Verdun, but there is overtime ahead. Carson Ralph scored the lone goal of the third period for the Brandon Wheat Kings, and answering him in kind was Bryce Bryant, the Verdun native, for the Broncos. So 3-on-3 overtime in effect in this 5-5 preseason tie. We'll be back with overtime on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5. A back and forth final preseason contest at Assiniboine Credit Union Place will end in overtime. We are tied at 5, and in overtime, the Broncos will be on my left, the Wheat Kings on my right. You're with Rob Mann tonight on Q Country 91.5 and on the Wheat Kings stream. A lot of drama in this one for a preseason game, but then again, with so many guys trying to earn a full-time roster spot, you would expect people to leave it all on the ice. Dylan McFadden is off to my right, Joey Rocha to my left. Shots 35-33 for the Wheat Kings through regulation. They will start overtime with Gio Pantelis and Jordan Gavin. And we'll wait to see who the third will be. Jackson Jacobson, who has 2 in the game, seems a prime candidate. And sure enough, he hops the boards. The Broncos answer with Maureen, Potter, and Wilkie. The faceoff will come to center ice. Jacobson to take the draw. And Wilkie, who has a goal and 2 assists in this one, will be his opponent. We are ready for overtime in this preseason game at ACU Place. Jacobson and Wilkie for the draw. Puck comes free to the Broncos, but the Wheat Kings reclaim it. Jacobson on the far side drifts it back to Gio Pantelis. From his own right circle, Pantelis cautiously makes a move to burn Wilkie and accelerates up the near side. Pantelis sees a lane, he's going to take it. Pantelis breaking in, trying to drive the goal, drops it back, but he missed Jacobson. Marine will skate onto it. Over the Wheat King blue line, wide to his left. At the left circle, Marine tries to take it to the goal, and his forehand rolled it wide. And that frees it up for Pantelis again up the near side. Pantelis pokes it ahead. Wilkie gloved it down for the Broncos, but gloved it straight into his own bench. 30 seconds into overtime, we've had net drive attempts either way, but no shots on goal yet. Wheat Kings will get Dylan Ronald, Chase Serkan, and Nick Johnson to the ice. Hansen, Goche, and Hawker answer for the Broncos. Johnson will take the draw on the near side, just outside Wheat King territory. Hansen is a righty, Johnson a lefty. Linesman being cautious about the draw. Wheat Kings tie up, Johnson falls on it, and Hansen falls on top of him. The puck is underneath Nick Johnson, who's trying to keep it there as best he can without taking a penalty, of course. Serkan trying to lift it loose. Finally, the puck comes free, and then suddenly right back into the scrum. At last, the Broncos claim it. Hawker into his own zone, setting things up in overtime. He'll hand it off to Hansen. Attacking up the near side. Hansen drives to his right, drops it off to Goche. He'll cut to the inside. Goche wide to his left with Johnson watching him closely. We'll just rag this back to center. 4 minutes to go in overtime. Goche winds it up. Johnson sticks with him step for step. Hook to the near side for Hawker of the Broncos. He'll drive to his left, but Serkan stays with him, so Hawker peels back. All the way to the near side. Hawker now accelerates. Serkan staying with him. Hawker breaks in and throws on the brakes. Hands it off to Hansen. From the bottom of the right circle around the Wheat King net. Hansen stayed on it for a moment, then lost it to Dylan Ronald. Ronald out from behind his net, patiently to his right, waiting for the Wheat Kings to get set here in overtime. He'll just calm things down. Ronald up ice, sends it to the far side for Serkan. Back to Ronald on the return feed with time. Ronald dances right up the middle, finally got stripped by Moen. Egan, fresh off the bench, picks it up and drives the far corner. Egan from the right circle, around the net on his backhand. From the top of the left circle, Egan goes down to Odit. Odit has some time, backhands it off to Helinski. They'll cycle it here in overtime as Helinski and Egan trade spots. Egan comes up with the puck, but Moen stays with him. Hard to the wall they go. Egan keeps control. Up the near side, Jimmy Egan stick handling well, drives the middle, now to his right, pursued by Moen. Egan will just curl back to the neutral zone with 3 to go in overtime. Egan leaves it there for Helinski on the far side. With some time, Adam Helinski ahead. Fakes the pass and now peels back, waiting for a lane that he likes better. He'll go to the far side for Easton Odit. Odit at center, accelerates ahead and gains the line on Hawker. Odit charging in, works it back to Egan, and he just missed his tape. Egan had it swept away. Helinski from the left point keeps the Wheat Kings in control. He'll back out to center, away from Alescu. Helinski up the far side to Odit. Odit goes back to him so the Wheat Kings can have some time to change, and Gavin and Jacobson come back out. Helinski behind the Wheat King net, watched by Dingman. We're halfway through overtime here, tied at 5. Helinski comes out the right side patiently and threes it up the near side, but he missed his target. Skating to it is Yerix to the right of the Bronco net. 2 Wheat Kings right in front of him. Jacobson makes the strip. That out to Gavin. Gavin to his backhand. Shoot, saved by Rocha. Rebound, score! Gavin would not be denied on the second try, and the Wheat Kings take the win in overtime. Jacobson won the battle in the near corner. Fitting that he should be in on the overtime winner. He had 2 goals in this one, but it's his assist that helps Jordan Gavin end it. For the second game in a row, it's Gavin, Jacobson, and Serkan putting on an offensive clinic for the Wheat Kings. And Jordan Gavin finishing the game off in overtime from in close. He was stopped on the first try. There was no stopping that second effort. Final shots, 37-33 in the Wheat Kings' favor. They'll move to 2-1 in the preseason, and we'll wrap it up tomorrow in Verdun. We'll break down this one for you when we come back on your home of the Wheat Kings, Q Country 91.5.